go to the stores and put all stuff on the shelf and keep up with inventory and stuff like that for the stores.
Isn't that just more money than the driver?
Okay, I think we should be. We should be live. We are live on Instagram. How about that?
Oh, awesome.
Not our fence does, right?
Huh?
Not our fence does?
Not our Finsta. What are you talking about?
Never mind.
What'd you say?
You don't know what a Finsta is?
A Finsta?
Yeah. Never mind.
What are you talking about?
I'll explain. It's the fake Instagram.
Oh,
There's the
yeah.
Instagram,
Okay.
And then there's
Sorry.
the one that you don't show your parents.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about something else. I just didn't put two and two together.
I did reach out to the person that wrote that article about us.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to get back to me in March, and she wants
cool.
to collaborate in Austin on something.
Oh, awesome. That'd be great.
So I told her that would be awesome.
All right. Are we, do we have our, is the sound correct? Is there anybody out there?
Are we live on YouTube?
Yeah, we should be live everywhere.
All right, I got to go and add a thumbnail in the description.
Let's see. Hello.
Hello.
That is the wrong audio. How about now? Just leave it alone over there and let it sit for a minute.
Oh yeah, and we are definitely live on Insta as well. Cool.
Let it sit for a minute. Okay, so I think this one's right. Camera is right. Okay, so I think this one's right. Can you double check that and make sure he's muted on the laptop? If he's muted on the laptop, then we're ready.
Yeah, it's muted.
Check that and make sure he's muted.
Yeah, it's muted and the laptop's muted.
Okay. Uno, dos, tres. What's up, Artie? Uno, dos, tres.
Oh, it sounds good now, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Artie? Go ahead and say something real quick.
Yo, hello.
What's up, Artie? Go ahead and say something real quick.
Yo, hello.
Okay, we're good. We were having a echo because of my phone. Oh.
What are y'all doing for Friday?
I've got a thing about the 25 greatest animated shows of all time.
Assuming just Western animation?
Yeah, I don't go for that Eastern animation.
They'll
kill us.
I would like to get into Eastern animation a little bit more. It's been really hard for me to get into. I'm not against it. I think the Studio Ghibli stuff is absolutely Ghibli, or however you say it. I think it's Studio Giblets. Oh, Ghibli. I think that stuff is absolutely beautiful.
Ghibli.
Yeah, Studio Giblets.
Ghibli. Why is it going so slow?
I think that's just the way that renders.
Nope, it's set at 0.25.
Who did that?
I do it a lot in here so that things don't go off or whatever. All right. Oh, hey, Luke. How are you?
We need to get
Dapper.
him on
I
soon.
think there's a different definition. I'm not sure you're using that word the way you think you are. But thank you. Thank you. Dapper on my flapper. All right. You let me know when you're ready.
2 seconds. Well, a little more than 2 seconds.
It was 22 degrees the other day. Today it's 70.
It's supposed to be around 50, 60 the rest of the week.
Yeah, it's supposed to also
week,
dip again. The first week of March is supposed to have another little cold.
Later this week, we go to 79 degrees during the day.
Not mad.
And I wonder why people are sick.
Hey, it's fucking sick. Not really.
I don't like the weather. I'll tell you that. We should just stay one way or the other for a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Within about 4 days, we'll go from 20-something to 70-something.
That's the beauty of Texas, though. You
hard to control your sinuses at that point. Hard.
My science has been so good. Is it just because I'm just built different?
You are built differently. Yes. Hey, can you hand me that phone stand? Thank you, sir. May I have another? Have you ever seen Animal House?
Yeah, I've seen it once.
Have you seen Blues Brothers?
I've not seen Blues Brothers. I have seen Dazed and Confused. I've not seen Fast Times.
Dazed and Confused, you have not seen?
I have seen Dazed and
Okay,
Confused.
you have not seen Fast Times.
I've not seen Fast Times. I have seen Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink.
Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, you've seen.
I've never seen 16 Candles.
Really? Okay.
I've had the chance to.
Yeah, I understand. It's so weird to me sometimes, though. Like people your age have seen movies, but they see them out of order. Like, you know.
Yeah,
me,
they just see them. They just watch them in
what I'm
whatever
saying
direction.
is, for me, they come in like a progression. You know,
I want people to hear this.
like it was Breakfast Club first,
And then 16 Candles. What was it? No, I think it was 16 Candles first, then
might have been
Breakfast
16
Club,
Candles, and then Breakfast Club,
and
yeah,
then Pretty in Pink.
and then Pretty in Pink, definitely.
I've seen The Last Starfighter.
And then
I like The Last Starfighter. I've seen Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer's not bad. Have you ever seen Kroll?
I've never seen
Woo,
Kroll.
boy, you're in for a treat.
I've heard
If
it's
you like
not the best.
ferrets, you'll love Kroll.
I've what else have I seen? I've seen Airplane, the
Maybe
original
that's
Airplane.
Beastmaster has the ferrets.
Oh,
You seen
Airplane.
Beastmaster?
That's not a bad one.
I've not seen Beastmaster.
There's a lot of ferrets, I believe.
Anything with Leslie Nielsen in it's pretty good. I feel like.
I've
Real
seen
goofy.
Cobra.
Is he an airplane?
He's an airplane, yeah,
He's an airplane.
absolutely. He's not an airplane too.
Have you ever seen the Stallone
Cobra?
I've seen Cobra. Yes.
Yeah, crime is a disease and he's the cure. Yeah, that's the
I think so.
tagline
I think
for
so. Oh yeah,
that.
it's a crazy movie.
Yeah,
I still remember she's like spends like 5 minutes just dousing fries and ketchup, and then it's just a little bit of ketchup on the fries.
What I love about it is that his car is so low that it scrapes the curb every time he goes around in it. But he's supposed to be this cop that can catch anybody.
Uh-huh.
There's no way that car is doing anything. Hey, Jordan, what's up?
Hello, Jordan.
Artie says a lot of
Welcome.
kids these days first saw the movies on TBS or TNT edited cut. Yep, that's true.
Hmm.
But it's just weird to me, like the fact that they're done it out of order. You know,
You want-
as
want-
far as in my mind. Or at least
Want
release
to know something else weird?
Mm.
I've seen Temple of Doom
Uh-huh.
and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I've never seen Raiders or Last Crusade.
Huh.
I watched them. I watched that out of order.
And I've never seen any of them.
Well, I mean, Raiders is excellent. Raiders is an excellent movie. And when it came out, there was nothing like it. I mean, absolutely nothing. So
Sometimes it's fun watching things out of order.
this says it has 8 minutes left on the battery.
Sure.
Which that bothers me a little bit. This is the power. I don't think it's plugged in somewhere.
There's a green light on the.
Do, 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 do.
The light was green. I'm ready whenever you are, Mike. I got everything up finally.
There we go.
Took me a little
That
while.
did it. Thank you, sir. Star Wars released out of order. Yep, you're right, Artie. Star Wars was released. out
It
of
was released like entirely out of order.
Also, I'm
The,
gonna be
uh,
a boomer.
the-
I'm gonna be a zoomer for all you boomers out there.
order. Boomer Zoomer.
Prequels are better than the original trilogy.
Oh my god.
I think so. 1, 2, and 3 were my favorites.
Yeah,
Out of
I'd
all of
like
it.
to-
Okay, sorry, I forget most of you not know.
I'd like to throw up.
No,
now.
not much. How old are you? Yeah, you're like.
All right, here we go.
Bwaaa trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go.
Hello, and welcome to Bwaaa
Bwaaa.
Podcast. I'm Mike.
Yeah, and I'm Rusty.
The guy over there, that's Rusty. It's weird, so hang on. Just in case we do look at each other, let me move these around. There we go. Now he's over there. There he is. All right. Well, welcome to our live stream that will be cut down into an actual episode.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you guys for being here. I know that Artie's here, Luke's here, and Jordan's here right now.
Welcome.
Welcome. All right, so we are dealing with King of the Hill Season 7, Episode 11.
Yep.
Or in the year of our Lord 7 ABE 07, so not too terribly out of order. This is Boxing Luann. It first aired February 2nd, 2000 and trace.
Yep, absolutely. And I got a couple of notes I'm going to knock out real quick of Artie's. This is one of Artie's favorite episodes.
Well, hang on one second. Let me give you
Artie.
the entire
okay.
Synopsis that IMDb says about this show.
All right.
Okay. So give me just a little bit of time here. Luann becomes a boxer. Okay, I'm done. That was the entire
end.
thing. That's the whole synopsis.
Okay, so the movie is actually a play on a title of a movie that came out in 1993 called Boxing Helena.
Boxing thong.
So Boxing Helena was an avant-garde thriller film. Its production was actually affected by legal battles with Madonna and Kim Basinger, who both backed out of playing Helena, who was eventually played by, I think, Cheryl Finn. I don't know who that is, but Art Garfunkel was also in this movie.
Art Garfunkel.
Bill Paxton, and then Kurtwood Smith, who played in the 70s show as the dad, which we had talked about the 70s show last week.
Jordan says I just watched this episode yesterday, which is great.
Yeah, it is a good episode. So I don't think there's any boxing in that movie. From what I'm reading of the synopsis, there's literally no boxing, but we have a high-grade tibial fracture due to a hit and run, yada, yada. Goes to the extreme of amputating both her legs.
Yeah.
So I don't really know anything about that
it's a
movie.
nice, depressing movie.
Yeah, it's about kidnapping, mutilation,
it's
broken
pretty
legs,
depressing.
car wrecks, a shrewish woman with whom he had one intimate experience. So, I'm not going to read that whole synopsis.
It's not fun.
That sounds like a crazy-ass movie.
It's not fun. I think it came out about the same time as Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And
oh, okay. So it's that whole thing, huh?
What was that other one where they were bound? It had Jennifer Tilly in it, where they were like tied up or whatever. And then Secretary, which is one of my favorite movies, with James Spader.
I like James
Spader. Is a
Spader.
Complete pervert in that movie, but the movie
He's a good actor.
is excellent. Yeah.
Also,
Secretary.
In this movie, we get a good chunk of voices here. You get it is a boxing
brother.
It is a boxing film, huh?
Who's Buck's brother?
What's his
Who
brother's
does
name?
the voice of Buck's brother in this?
Is his brother Stu?
Yeah.
Johnny Hardwick.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, Johnny Hardwick does Stu. Randy Strickland. Sorry, Randy's his brother name. Stu is the student.
Who's Randy?
In the school. Randy Strickland is voiced by Bruce Dern.
There we go. I knew it was Bruce Dern, but I could not think of his name.
What movies did he do? What
Bruce Dern
was his
has been
name?
in a jillion movies. He was in that one and the other one.
He was in The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
He was in
a lot of westerns. He was in a lot of
a lot of western
cop
movies.
thrillers and things like that. Laura Dern's
Coming
father.
Home.
Yeah.
He got nominated for
because that was about coming back from Vietnam.
Yeah, he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Academy for that. He also got nominated for the movie Nebraska.
Oh yeah, Nebraska. That's the Brad Pitt one.
No, it's got Bruce Dern, Will Forte, Bob Odenkirk, Stacy Keach.
There we go.
It was released in black and white. It's actually a black and white movie.
Yeah, but
it's a comedy drama.
That was when
2013.
Yeah.
That's a comedy film.
Oh, I was thinking of Arkansas. I think is what I was thinking.
But he was in, like you said, he was in a lot of westerns during the New Hollywood era. So he was in The Trip, They Shoot Horses, Don't They?
Yeah, he was in
The Incredible
True
Two-Headed
Grit.
Transplant. Great Gatsby, but these are all 70s movies. Posse. He was in Chappaquiddick in 2017.
Not the movie, just the place.
Yeah, I don't know what Chappaquiddick. I don't know what that is. And then he was in Emperor, but yeah,
Chappaquiddick is where Ted Kennedy dumped a girl in his car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, I've never heard that
one.
one. But if you are familiar with the HBO series Big Love,
Yeah,
he played
that was a good
Frank
show.
Harlow. That was his character, was
Big Love
Frank
was a good show.
Harlow. So actually his paternal grandfather, George Dern, was a Utah governor and also served as Secretary of War
Oh,
during the time of his birth
Secretary of
in
War.
1936.
Yikes.
So there you
That's
go.
just breaking it right down to the bone there.
His grandfather was also a vice president of the Carson, Peary, and Scott stores.
Huh.
His maternal grandfather. I don't know any of these people, but I thought I'd just add in a little information that doesn't matter.
The directors of this are Michael Dante DiMartino
Okay.
and Clay Hall.
Clay Hall.
And then the writers, Mike Judge, Greg Daniels, of course, and Dean Young.
Dean Young. All
Yeah.
right. And then the other notable voices
Dean
that are
Young.
in here is you have the title characters. They play their voice, obviously, because it's who they are. Frida
George.
Foreman, which is George
Frida.
Foreman's daughter. George
George
Foreman and
Bird.
George Foreman 3, which is his son. And then Angela, who is a workout friend in this of Luann. She's voiced by Carmen Electra. And then Little John is voiced by Phil Lamar. And then you have Greta and Bora. Greta is voiced by Phil Hendry.
Because all he does is go, "Ah." That's about it.
Yeah, he's voiced by Phil Hendry, and then Bora is done by Pamela Adelon.
So Artie says Ted Kennedy crashed his car and left his date behind to drown Mary Jo Kaepernick in Chappaquiddick. That's always been the story
Yep.
that haunted Ted Kennedy.
And here in this opening scene,
Not the
before
only
you,
person that killed
I'll
him.
introduce the
Yeah.
opening scene before we jump into the script. So here in the opening scene, Luann is doing algebra,
Uh-huh.
and she has
At
decided
the
that
community college.
absolutely, and she has decided that x equals 2 and y equals 7, but there's no actual math to prove that she has done math. So she's
Mhm.
either a math savant or she is just writing numbers on a page.
You're
So
right,
there
Luke.
you
That
go.
is a lot of voices in one episode.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Yeah, she's
but
just
it's just
writing
because
numbers.
the Foreman family, I think they made irons. Is that what they
7 of 'em or
made?
something.
They make irons.
No,
Or
they make
now they
grills,
make
but yeah,
grills.
sure, sure.
All right.
All right, so we start off at Arlen Community College, like Rusty said. Luanna's at the board working on some algebra, and the guys in the class are just sitting there staring at her butts. Not
That's
her butts,
it.
her one butt,
Yeah.
her
one butt.
singular butt. She says,
Oh, it's like
"X-"
that joke. Is butt cheeks one word, or is it supposed to be spread apart?
That's good.
There you go.
X equals 2, and then a guy in the class, he's like, "Come on, reach up higher." I mean, just creeps.
Yeah, just
She's
creeps.
like, "Y equals 7." Another one goes, "Your butt equals 10." She turns around, she goes, "Why don't you take a picture, Stu? It would last longer." And he pulls out a camera and says, "Okay, work it." And he starts like wanting to take pictures. I mean, the guy was
Whoa.
ready. Got to give him that.
Isn't that like nowadays you get kicked out of class?
Oh yeah. I
well,
would
I'm
hope
sure
so.
even back then you would have got kicked out of class.
Now we're in Tybo class. Remember
Tybo.
Tybo.
Yeah, I got a quick Tybo fact
Yeah,
for you.
Tybo.
So she's doing Tybo in the gym, which for those of you that don't know, there was a guy named Billy Blanks.
Billy Blanks.
He was a Taekwondo and karate
Tybo
practitioner.
superstar.
So he
You got a bunch of
created
VHSs.
he created a workout video, a fitness system, which was Billy Blanks is his name, and he called it Tybo because it was a blend of Taekwondo and boxing, and it
Mhm.
was a big popular thing in the 90s. And if you stayed up real late watching TV and the TV stayed on at about 6 a.m., you would hear Billy Blanks screaming, "Tybo,
You'd
buy
see Billy-
this!"
You'd see
Yeah,
Billy Blanks, and you'd see Susan Powder.
Yeah,
and then you'd
Susan
see-
Powder,
You know,
yeah.
and you see Miss Cleo right after that.
right after that,
I don't know if y'all remember Miss Cleo, but she
I
would
do. I'd tell you a fortune.
I
Yeah.
tell you the fortune. Call it now. All right. So we're in the Tybo class. Luann is obviously mad because she's still thinking about the guys taking pictures of her butt. She says, X equals jerk, Y equals pig. And then she whips around, and the other girl goes, "Hey, you kicked me." She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I closed my eyes, and I was thinking of those stupid guys in my math class. Oh, and the guy in the parking lot, and that volunteer pool cleaner who always comes by when I'm swimming." The other girl says, "Tell me about it. I once fell for a free breast examination in a bar."
Wow.
Man says, "It just makes me so." And now we go over to the Hill house. Hank, Bobby, Luann are on the living room watching TV. And on the TV, you hear, "There's nothing in the rule book that says a robot can't play at the Frat Olympics." And so you have to assume, because of what they say and what you just heard, that they're watching one of the Revenge of the
Nerd
Yes.
movies. Yeah.
Bobby says, "Hey, why don't the nerds just move across town instead of living right next door to the jock fraternity? That way nobody will be constantly breaking their gadgets." Hank says, no, that's wrong, Bobby. If nerds stood up to them once in a while, they wouldn't get their gadgets broken in the first place. Listen, if you don't fight for yourself, you're never going to get anyone's respect. That is what you call foreshadowing right there.
Which the Revenge of the Nerds, if you guys have never seen it, one of the main characters in it, Robert Carradine, I didn't know that he was related to the David Carradine and all that. Like, I didn't know that his name was Robert Carradine. So I was like, I know him as Louis Skolnick, which is his name in Revenge of the Nerds. But again, you're watching TV and watching movies.
Is he actually related to the?
Yeah, he's. I want to say that he is David Carradine's. I want to say that's his dad. No, David
Carradine was
David Carradine. Well, I was watching something that had John Carradine in it. And I was like, all right, well, is he related to the other Carradines? Well, it's Keith Carradine, David Carradine, Michael Bowen, and Martha Plimpton. And they're all related.
Artie says brother.
But it is his half brother,
Luke
not his
says,
brother.
The panty
it is his half brother.
Do panty raids all the time.
But David Carradine is like the Kung Fu guy. He was on Kung Fu.
Yeah, he also died with autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, he did.
Big belt around his neck.
Yeah, he did.
While he was whacking it. All right, Bobby, Hank sets him right about the nerds. Luann says, yeah, there's nothing worse than people not respecting you. Every time I get hooted at, I have to take an hour of Taibo. Hank says, Taibo, is that new Oriental way of moving your couch around? She says, nah, it's an exercise class where you punch and you kick till you can't think of anything no more. No, actually, you punch, kick, squat, rest, 2, 3, all the music and kick. And Bobby's like, oh, it's dancing. That sounds, and Hank is just immediate. Nope, just shuts that down. He shuts it right down.
He was referring to Feng Shui.
Black Ant didn't know if he was coming or going. That's exactly right.
Hank was talking about Feng Shui there, the Oriental way,
Feng Shui,
which Feng Shui is an ancient Chinese practice that involves arranging space, objects, and buildings to create balance and harmony.
So if I take this and I move it to here, now I'm going to have fortune.
And the Feng Shui means wind, water.
All right, now we're at Strickland Propane. Hank comes in and goes, Mr. Strickland, a couple of folks from the Chamber of Commerce are here to thank you for your work with the orphans. This is the funniest part of this with Buck. Buck goes, orphans, Chamber of Commerce. He starts to climb out the window. Like, I don't know what he's done to these orphans.
Yeah, I don't know.
Damn,
yeah, like,
he's got to go out.
It's kind of questionable how he's trying to dive out the window here. Like, what's going on there, bud?
Hank starts to walk off and he goes, oh, you're so modest, sir. He walks off. And then a guy comes in a cowboy shirt, red cowboy shirt, big belt buckle. He's a little skeevy looking. And he goes, boy, he goes, well, look at who's back from rehab. It's my little baby brother. And this is his brother. He says, I want my money back, Buck. He goes, boy, you never were much with the ladies, but ow. Hey, in comes Greta, the big boy. She's a ton of gal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big old muscly bound Eastern European looking square headed lady. She comes in and grabs Buck from behind, pulls him in an arm bar, puts him up against the desk, and he's like, boy, you never wear much with the lady. Ow. He goes, watch it there, Shrek. That's an Italian suit. Shrek, Italian
Shrek suit.
His brother says, Greta ain't my girlfriend. She's a lady boxer I manage, although we did get dirty once. And Greta's like, she almost smiles. Then she twists Buck's arm a little more. And Buck's like, all right, I'll pay. Donna, put a hold on them payroll checks. He goes, you putting a squeeze on me really takes me back. Hey, I know a new girly club where we could go oogle some ladies, no cover charge. So the next thing you see, they're buddy again all of a sudden. And they are at Body Buddy Health Club watching the women work out. I can't think of much creepier.
That's rough. Yeah, that's not something I understand.
You go into a spin class or whatever. You sit on one of the stationary bikes. You drink out of a flask while you watch girls work out.
Yeah, that's down bad.
That's pretty rough. That's
what we call down bad in the industry. Yeah.
He says, woo-wee, what a workout. I'm sweating like a lumberjack. Well, hey there, Luann, good workout. Yeah, it looked good from here. So Luann comes up. She goes, if you were looking at me, I'm going to have to have both of your gym memberships revoked. And I would hate to do that because you both look terrible. He goes, oh, no. We're just, the other guy says, scouting talent. Yeah, I'm a boxing promoter and we're here just scouting talent. I'd love to see you in the ring.
Scouting talent.
Yeah, she really has
just
no
that phrase is so creepy. Yeah, we're out
she
here
really
scouting
has no
talent.
idea. And he goes, "Oh, boxing." She goes, "Huh? My mama's in prison because she fights so much. Do you think there's some way her genes could have been passed down to me?" Buck says, "Wait a minute, Randy. Luann here might make a really good opponent for Greta. Yeah, we could put up posters all over town. Call it Beauty and the Beast." Luann says, "Which one am I? Because if it's okay with you, I'd like to be the Beast." And she goes, "Arr." She goes, "Did I scare you?"
No, you
She's
didn't.
just so freaking innocent.
She
You know,
is.
She just is so innocent.
She don't know what's going on.
All right, now we're at the Hill house. It's dinner time. We're at the kitchen table. Luann comes in through the sliding glass door. Hank, Bobby, and Peggy are sitting there already. She comes in and goes, "Okay, guess who I ran into at the gym? Buck Strickland. He watched me do Taibo, and he thinks that I'd make a great boxer." Hank says, "Look, Luann, I fought at the Y. Trust me, you are no boxer." Okay, I have a big question here. When the hell did Hank fight at the Y?
Yeah, they never really talk about that. I think this would probably be the one and only mention. Let me make sure. Let me check Artie's notes here. He might have something on it.
I
No,
don't
that's
ever
literally
remember him
it. There
saying
is
anything
no
about
other.
fighting, certainly not at the Y. You know?
Yeah, there's really no other mention of it. Honestly, I've never heard of Hank boxing, but
No boxing Hank.
but there is an episode, season 6, episode 1, where Bobby's doing the nut kicking thing.
Yeah.
Where Hank gives him a pair of boxing gloves.
Oh, it's true. That's true. I forgot about that.
So
yeah, you're right about that. Yeah,
the
maybe it did
boxing
happen.
gloves, I don't remember. See, that's the thing
It
is
was
that
just
people comment on this all the time that I don't remember things, but I don't remember in that episode if he mentions anything about the YMCA boxing
I
to
don't
Bobby.
Think he did.
I feel like I would remember that, but if he did,
Yeah.
he did. If he didn't, I don't remember it. Whatever, either way. But he does give him the gloves. I
Yeah.
do remember the
Yeah, I do
glove,
remember that too. Yeah,
the
you're right
glove
about that.
scene where he gives him the gloves or whatever.
Artie says when he was younger, Bobby Goes Nuts mentions it. So he did mention it.
Okay, so he
that's
did.
great. Thanks,
Oh,
Artie.
from his YMCA days.
Yeah.
He does say it. Yeah, he
So,
does. So there you go.
He says, "Trust me, you are no boxer." She goes, "Yeah, Friday at midnight in the back room at Sugarfoot's." Gosh, it sounds like a great place to fight. Back room.
Sugarfoot's, yeah, backroom boxing. Get the Sugarfoot's
She goes,
bar and grill.
She goes, and I'm going to stand up and fight and be respected, just like you said. Hank says, "Luann, the kind of woman that box don't have 50 stuffed animals on their bed. Hey, why don't you spend Friday night watching one of those movies you like where people fall in love and then one of them dies?"
I'm going to talk about that for a second.
Great.
That the women that box don't have stuffed animals on their bed. There's a amazing MMA
Black
fighter.
Ant also said he corroborated the same thing. Yeah.
Okay,
About
so
the YMCA
sorry, I
stuff. Yeah.
forget.
No,
Sorry,
it's great.
guys.
No, it's great. This is why our guys are
Me
here.
and Mike got a lot of things going on in
I
life.
remember it.
Our podcast is awesome.
Until you said the boxing gloves, I didn't even remember that.
Sometimes
honestly.
I can't
Yeah.
correlate data.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny that they mentioned that thing about the fighting where women that have stuffed animals can't fight or whatever. Ronda Rousey,
Mhm.
she was the first one of the first women fighters in the UFC, first women's champion
Makes a hell of
in
a
UFC.
cobbler, too.
Yeah, but she is a huge fan of Pokemon and stuff like that, and she doesn't like hide the fact that she likes Pokemon. And that's what I'm saying. Like saying that just because somebody likes something doesn't mean that they're a good fighter or anything like that. I think that Ronda Rousey was one of the best talents the UFC ever had, and she was a Pokemon nerd. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's just Hank.
Well, that's the
being
thing
Hank.
is there was a guy that I went to school with that was this massive burly dude from Montana, but when he got home, he painted his little Warhammer figurines.
Oh, sure. Oh,
So
yeah.
it was
There's
like
a lot of those guys.
like you can't judge a book by its cover. Matter of fact, there's a guy in the NFL right now. He plays with the Tennessee Titans. I can't remember his name, and I wish I could because
Loser?
he's huge in the video game community. Like and that's the cool thing about like this gap. It bridges a gap between nerds and football. It makes nerds want to go watch football when they see that a football star has an Iron Man account on RuneScape maxed out, which that doesn't mean anything to you, obviously. But an Iron Man account is that you can't get killed because if you get killed, your character's done. And to max your account out generally takes 12 years.
Oh, wow.
So he's never died and he's maxed his account out on RuneScape. And it's like making nerds aware of football. They're like, oh, a football player plays the game I like, so that it makes them want to go kind of get interested in what the football player's doing. I don't know. I thought it was a cool tangent. There you go.
No, it was great. Hank said, why don't you go watch one of those movies where everybody falls in love and then one of them dies, and then he leaves the room. Peggy says,
the boxing Helena movie.
Hey,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. What's up? Peggy comes in and says, "Oh, Luann, you have to understand. Your uncle only wants what's best for you. That said, everything he just told you, complete jackassery." Jesus.
Oh, here we go.
she's such a turd.
We got some Instagram comments. I forgot that we have Instagram going here too.
Cool.
So St. Angeles, hey again.
St. Angeles.
Awesome to see you again. Yes, you were a guest, and you sent us candles that were amazing, awesome candles.
Yeah.
Filled a room with great scents. And then you got Crunch the Numbers. I discovered your podcast a few months ago, currently in season 3. Would love to be a guest sometimes to go over things.
Send us an email.
Got wrong about how the Army would work involving Bill, many inaccuracies. And from what I could tell, Crunch the Numbers here, his profile picture is an Army picture. He's in uniform with his
send us an email.
cover on indoors.
Absolutely.
I guess if you're taking
100%.
a picture, you can have your cover on indoors. But yeah, so Crunch the Numbers. Yeah, send me an email at bwaaakoth@gmail.com and we'll work you in. I want to get Luke on pretty soon too.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Luke is a veteran as well. I don't want to get that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Luke is a veteran as well.
He's a veteran of heartbreak.
A veteran of heartbreak. I think we all are, Mike.
Uh,
But yeah, so yeah, and just to go ahead and say it, anybody that wants to be a guest, just shoot me an email, bwaaakoth@gmail.com, or reach out to me on social media. I've already been in talks with Luke. Luke wants to actually fly here.
Oh my God!
And
Luke.
sit in the chair next to us over here. And if we do that, we'll have to do a special hour-long Friday episode if he flies here.
Yeah.
If he flies here, Scott, we gotta sit here and chew the yarn, shoot the shit, whatever, for an hour with Luke, because that's pretty cool. But anybody that wants to do anything similar to that, if y'all want to fly in and come hang out with us, we're never really against that. We're never against that. Or drive in, or ride your bike, or skateboard, walk, hover around, levitate. We do have disability access. So if you have a wheelchair, motorized scooter, whatever,
Elevators, pulleys, ropes.
I won't carry you though.
No.
If you need carrying, I'm out of commission for carrying.
That's why it's a 2-man show. We have to carry each other, so we're not.
Yeah.
All right. Artie wants to know how comfy is your couch. It's not great because it's
actually
it's a 1-hour show.
Actually, these
the chairs are decent though.
These chairs that we have,
but the bottoms of the chairs have been replaced.
Yeah, I've noticed that they're lifted up.
Well, not only are they lifted up, they're solid bases now. There used to be those spindly little legs.
Yeah,
and the legs started to crack and stuff because people.
Oh, so you built little platforms for
bases around them. Yeah,
I think they're comfortable, and even the couches in the other room, I feel like they're not horribly. Yeah. I mean, it's not a couch you'd want to lounge and watch TV for 6 hours on, but for podcasting, you can't get a better couch.
All right, so now we're over at Sugarfoot's. On the sign, it says 2-for-1 rib night. Now, I want you to understand that every time we see the Sugarfoot sign in this episode, it still says 2-for-1 rib night. So
hey, 2-for-1 ribs. Can't beat it, can you?
Also on the sun, he says, if I'm flying, I'm sleeping in the studio. Yeah. No, we'll find you a place. We got a place. We got a good deal. We got a good deal. All right. So it says on the sign says tonight's special, Beauty and the Beast. There's a sign out front for that. She is on her way in, is Luann. She's in the back. She's getting ready for her first fight. And she goes, "Dear Lord, one of your creatures may be hurt tonight. Please let it be the other creature. Amen." So she literally prayed that the other person gets hurt.
Yeah, which is wild to do. Don't do that, Luann. That's like people saying, "Oh, I hope Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL."
Yeah.
And like I'm guilty of that kind of language in the heat of the moment. Only on Sundays do I say those things. I don't say them Monday through Saturday. I'm pretty like, I hope that they do good too. But Sunday, when it comes to Sunday, you got to.
I don't want them to get hurt.
Get a little violent.
I want them to lose. I don't want them to get hurt. So now we're in the ring, getting ready to go. Greta is dressed like a big cave woman, which is weird.
Yeah.
Buck is on the side and he's like, yeah. Okay, Luann, looking good. Yeah. Now just remember, the key to boxing is to jump up and down. Yeah. Just keep bouncing, bounce and weave. Okay, so we know what Buck's in this for. He's just looking for
which is kind of weird that he would go to the thing that I find like really odd about this is that they go to to see somebody, like they could just go to the strip club.
I don't get it either.
You know what I mean?
It's really
it's not like Buck doesn't have like direct access to strip clubs.
Well, it's because Buck gets to bet on it. That's what it is. He's
it's a betting thing too.
Yeah.
But the links you could go bet on.
I know
you could bet on anything.
But
that they have professional HVAC competitions.
He is a.
you could bet on anything.
He's a lech. I mean, that's just what he does. You know.
Have you ever heard of that?
What?
Professional HVAC competitions.
No, I did not know there was
So-
professional HVAC.
so
now I used to
you could
work
bet
with
on
the
anything.
HVAC guys out at TSDC though,
Yeah.
and they would go to like their little things that they had, but I didn't realize it was a professional thing.
Yeah, well, they have all kinds of competitions. Like if you're, when I worked at Taco Bell in college,
Mhm.
they would allow you to try out to be on a team to go and compete against other Taco Bells. And you would have this deal. You would fly to wherever the Taco Bell headquarters was, and they had a kitchen there. And you would be like, who could make
For real?
whatever it's like, who could do, like, they would give you a
I want to watch this.
group. They would give you like a set group. So you had like, who could make a taco 12 pack the fastest? Who could make,
Yeah, I want to watch
who could
that.
make and they would give you a like an order. So they'd give you an order like 3 burritos, and who can make those burritos the fastest, or they'd
Why
give you
can't
an
I
order of
bet on that?
tacos. Oh man, I
I
would have.
want to bet on
I
that.
never went and competed like at the competition, but I did the tryout thing.
Yeah.
And I beat everybody in our area, but I didn't want to fly out to
Fastest
go do it.
tacos in
I felt
Waco.
embarrassed that I was the fastest taco in town. So
So
I was like, I'm
Artie,
good.
Artie calls it the Restaurant Olympics. Then he also says Buck works the long con. He's hoping to bed the women he spends money on, which that's probably very true as
and
well.
Sparky Buff here says it's probably
Uh-huh.
one of his fetishes,
Could
which
be
you
one of his
probably
fetishes.
are right, because I feel like
Bounce,
to go
bounce.
to the lengths that he went to set this up,
Oh hell
it
yeah!
has to be like only somebody who has a fetish
Well,
would go through these lengths
He
to
also
set something up.
starts this thing by talking to his brother about a bet or money that he owed him. And
Yeah, so
I'm
he's trying to make some
assuming
money.
There's some betting action.
And then
going
I
on
think
here.
his fetish might be sexually based betting. So
could
maybe
be.
it's
Very well could
like
be.
like it has to be something in that, and that's what he gets off on. I don't really know. I don't really know much
He's a
about
lech.
betting based fetishes.
So you hear, okay, folks, you paid your monies. Here come the honeys, the Beauty and the Beast. Greta and is over there in her corner, and the ring guy is over there with a cowbell. Dong, 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 hits the cowbell. The ref, they start throwing punches at each other. Luann kicks at her, and the ref says, "Whoa, watch the kicks, or I'll disqualify you, and you'll lose your free rib dinner." Then we go back to Hank's house. Bobby is in the he's in the kitchen on the landline with a big long cord like we all had when we were 4. And Hank comes into the kitchen. He goes, "Tell Joseph and Dale, if he's listening, good night and go to bed." Hank's in his underwear, so it's obviously late at night. Bobby's in his PJs. Bobby's listening on the phone. And he says, "I got a live feed with the hostess at Sugarfoot. She's got Luann's fight on the speakerphone." She's got Luann's fight on the speakerphone, and
Yeah,
Bobby's
here you
listening
go.
to it in
Here
his
you go.
kitchen.
Luke said Bobby the bookie.
That's
He's doing
right.
that's like a bookie
Maybe he is
activity.
it.
And then Artie here said
Bobby's
he's
the
not a
plug here.
fetishist. He's a rich, dirty old man, which dirty old man is synonymous with fetishist.
That's true.
So there you go. There was actually, I know this is off topic, but
No,
there
you're
was
fine.
there was actually something that I was reading about a hotel. It's about Donald Trump, and it's about a hotel in Russia. He went and he rented out. This is something
Are
that
you about
leaked.
to tell me the P tapes?
It was something that from the KGB or whatever released, where he went and specifically was in the bed that President Obama and Michelle Obama had stayed in the presidential suite, and he hired a bunch of prostitutes to pee all over each other.
Yeah, I don't think that. I'm
Rich
not
old
sure
man,
that
rich dirty
actually
old man,
happened,
you
but yeah.
know, rich dirty old man.
Hank comes in and he sees Bobby, and Bobby tells he's got him on speakerphone. He goes, "Oh God, she went through with it." Then we go back over to the fight at Sugarfoot's. Hank runs in and he's like, "Luann, no!" And then you see Luann knock out Greta, which Greta's huge. There's no way that could ever happen. The ref goes over 1, 2, 3, 4. She's out. She goes, "Whoa! I did it! I won!" And then Hank comes in and goes, "Oh, you tagged her good. What a left hook." She goes, "Oh yeah, you didn't think I could do it, but I did." Then in comes Buck. "Great job, Luann." And then his brother, "You want to fight some more for us? I got a contract right here." I mean, he's already got it. Pulls the papers out. He goes, "It's very fair." She goes, "Oh my gosh, did you hear that, Uncle Hank? They want me to be a professional fighter. Ooh, I'm a professional fighter." And that is our first commercial break.
First
we will
commercial
take
break.
that, and we'll be right
back.
there. It is.
works for everybody.
All right,
else.
and we are back.
We're right back.
We are in Hank's garage. All four of the guys are out there watching Luann as she's. They're not really watching. They're kind of staring out into the alley. But Luann is in the garage working out, getting ready for another fight. We hear Bill say, women boxing, huh? She wears gloves. How do they scratch each other? Well, okay, Bill, that's a little short-sighted. Hank says,
yeah,
no.
how did they scratch each other with gloves on? How do you do that?
Hank says, no, Bill, they punch pretty hard, and Luann was really something. I tell you what, Dale fights more like a girl than she did last night. Here comes Dale. So I bet a cashier. I'm a street fighter. I think that's the only line Dale has in the entire show.
Yeah, probably. Luke's got a question for us here. He says,
yeah.
do we think Bill is getting off to any of this?
Oh, yes. Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure he is.
Bill
has an enormous
a
spank bank.
poor, dirty old man.
Very, very large
Yeah.
spank bank.
He's a poor, dirty old man.
Hank says, Luann, I always hope to give you my old boxing gloves from the Y to Bobby, but well, anyway, I'd be honored if you'd wear these in your necks. I love how it's just like, you know how Bobby is.
Yeah, you know how that guy is.
She says, oh, Uncle Hank, every time I punch someone in the face, I'll think of you,
Hank.
which is great.
I love
that
the
line.
Uncle Hank.
All right, now we're at Buck's house, and he is with his brother, and they are drinking. And Buck is like, to Luann, getting rich off of pretty ladies even better than sleeping with one. Well, neck and neck. Greta comes in. He goes, well, looky here. Now, I know it must have killed you to throw that fight, biggin, but it was one hell of a convincing dive. If you had any looks, you could be a Hollywood actress. And Greta goes, oh, thank you. I mean, but in a voice like, oh, thank you. You know,
Thank you.
It's
Well,
really
Greta is
rough.
voiced again by Phil Hendry.
Yeah. He goes, here's your flop fee. Hands her some cash. Don't touch anything on the way out, huh? She leaves. He goes, times have changed. Trained boxers willing to take a dive are too good, god dang expensive. The maid comes in. He goes, hey, Bwaaa, you take a punch for $100, wouldn't you? She goes, no, sir. He goes, 200? Yes, sir, I would. That's it. Not $100, but $200. Yes, sir. And biggin. Yes, absolutely biggin. All right.
That's funny. 200? Yes, sir, I would.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep, I would.
Everybody's got a price, and
Everybody knows
it's
their
not
price.
$100.
Now we're at Cheapskates, which I've never seen. The skating rink. Luann.
I like that. I like that play on words there.
Oh, that's
Cheap
great.
skates.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's good.
So Luann's getting ready for another match. Hank is in there and he goes, okay, Luann. Buck says Bwaaa the Slammin' Slavic is 9-4. She used to pull a dog sled back in her native Croatia. He goes, oh, when my fans are out there respecting me, I feel like a strong, powerful, independent woman. In comes Buck. Luann, I brought you some tassels. Hank says, tassels? He goes, yeah, it's fight game, Boy Scout. We need a little show for the people. Oh, I get it. A little flash like Hector Macho Camacho. Yeah, that's it. Hank.
I got to
Yeah.
think about him. So Hector Macho Camacho was a Puerto Rican boxer from 1980 to 2010. He was 79, 6-3 in his 30-year career. He was actually assassinated on November 24th, 2012, which is Artie's birthday, by the way.
Uh-oh.
And he was shot in the face.
Wow.
So he took a lot of punches to the face and then died
shit.
by a bullet to the face.
One
So
bullet will do it.
poor guy. So yeah, that's Hector Macho Camacho, 79, 6-3, which if you
Artie.
know how that works is it's win, loss, tie.
Yeah.
So he won 79
Oh, yeah, no,
of
he was
his
a great
boxing
fighter, great
matches.
fighter.
So he was an amazing boxer.
Artie talking about the maid says, well, now we know what kind of girl you are. We just haggling over the price.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're in the ring. Hank
We're
is
in
telling
it.
her, light on your feet, Luann. She's one of them Russian brawlers. She you see Buck. He's like, yeah, good, Luann, good. Now hop like a bunny, hop like a bunny. Hank looks over at Buck sitting in the crowd and just kind of gives him a weird look. And he goes, oh, well, like Muhammad Ali says, hop like a bunny, sting like a bee. Hank says, that was float like a butterfly, sir. He goes, okay, now Luann, southpaw. And she knocks out the maid. Of course, the
Knocks her smooth out.
maid
Yeah.
takes another flop. But
Takes
sure.
a flop. Yeah, but we'll call it a knockout for now.
That's right. Now we're at Sugarfoot's. It's still 2-for-1 rib night. We've got Bobby, Peggy, Hank, Luann, Buck, and his brother all sitting down to eat. Hank says, now, Luann, you beat some tough fighters, and I think you're ready for a step up in competition. And we see this fighting montage that gets played. Buck hiring women to flop like the mail lady.
Yep, and the song that's being played during this montage
Yeah.
is Respect by Pink featuring Scratch.
Okay.
I don't know who Scratch is, but I know who Pink is.
Mohammed. And then you see the whole Hill family. They're all dressed in these blue jumpsuits or these like track suits because they're all like her ring
The ring
now or
team,
whatever.
yeah.
And anyway, they're talking about a step up in competition. And Luann says, yeah, I was reading in the Guinness Book of World Records about a woman who is 7'7". You think she'd fight me? Hank says, maybe, but I was thinking about the best female fighter in Texas, George Foreman's daughter, Frida Foreman. She's managed by her father and her 4 brothers named George. Buck says, I already called Foreman camp. They told me they want nothing to do with Luann. Yep, they're ducking us, but don't worry, we'll line up another top-notch opponent. And then he leans over to his brother and goes, has the pretzel lady gotten back to us yet?
I actually got a quick rundown of
About
some
pretzels?
stuff here. No, not
Pretzel ladies?
pretzels. Actually, about the Guinness
Ladies
Book
for
of World
pretzels?
Records, because she was we got that part yet?
Hmm?
You mentioned that already, right?
Hmm.
The Guinness Book of World Records, where she was reading it. Or is that-
Yeah. About
Yeah,
the
okay.
7'7"
I thought
lady.
so. Yeah. Okay, so the 7'7" lady was a woman named Sandy Allen, who was actually 7'7". She died in 2008.
Okay.
The Guinness Book of World Records was actually created by Hugh Beaver, who was the managing director in
Beaver.
1951 of the Guinness breweries. And they say that there was an argument over which was the fastest game bird in Europe. And he realized it was impossible to confirm it in reference books whether that was the fastest game bird. So he knew that there's probably tons of people debating these topics, like
Game
what's the
bird.
fastest the fastest game bird in Europe, which they were trying to argue over
It's a
the red
grouse.
grouse or the golden plover. The plover is faster, but neither is the fastest game bird in Europe. So there you go. So they were trying to settle this
So
argument.
what's the fastest game bird in Europe?
I don't know yet, but we'll get to that.
Okay. You leave me hanging
So
there.
in order to settle the argument, they created this
Alex.
record book, and that was like their way to settle bar bets.
Mm.
So like there's people like, I mean, how many times before there was technology did you sit
sure.
there and
Yeah,
argue
yeah.
something
Yeah.
to the teeth
Yeah.
with somebody,
Yeah.
and then 20 years later you got Google and you're like, damn, I was wrong 80% of the time I was arguing.
I agree with you on all the things you said, with the exception of the fact that I need to know what the fastest bird on Earth is.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to argue that with anybody either. But so what they did is in order to get their book out there, they gave thousands of these copies of this Guinness Book of World Records, because they went and started verifying records and doing fact checking and stuff like that. And they had 2 friends that were named Norris and Ross McWhirter, who were running a fact finding agency, which that was a huge thing back in the day, was fact finding agencies.
Yeah.
So you could verify facts.
Okay.
For, like we don't have that anymore. We have Google now. There is still fact finding agencies. Well, there's still fact finding agencies,
Sure.
but mostly for different reasons. But so they created a book. It was called the Guinness Book of Superlatives. And now it's called Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
It was the Guinness Book of Superlatives. Now it's the Guinness Book of World Records. But so yeah, they distributed 1,000 copies to pubs all over Britain and Ireland to promote it for the Guinness brand, and it became like insanely popular book. And now everybody in the world uses the book. But the fastest game bird,
just like the Michelin stars and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah,
all
it
started
starts
as
off
something else. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fastest game bird actually is the red-breasted merganser
Already had it.
with a top speed of 81 miles an hour. Oh, he already got it for me. Yeah, but
he got
top
it.
speed of 81 miles an hour. And the red-breasted merganser is a duck, which is native to Europe, Asia, North America, and Greenland.
See, now we have a difference of opinion here, because Alex says a red grouse is the fastest in Europe on average. And then Artie says red-breasted.
On average, it is.
merganser.
But the fastest ride out, see, that's the thing is he said on average. A record isn't about averages. It's
Okay.
about the fastest recorded.
How
So
did
the
we get
fastest
here? I
recorded.
don't understand how we
I don't
got
know,
here.
but I got one more tangent, and then I'm done for a
All
minute.
right, you're good, man.
So you mentioned George Foreman has 5 sons named
Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
Okay. So George Foreman, if anybody who doesn't know who George Foreman is, which everybody pretty much, I imagine most of our audience probably knows, maybe some don't. He's a former boxer. He's also
He's
was
great.
an ordained minister.
Yep.
And he's also an entrepreneur.
Super nice.
Sold
guy.
irons. and
Sold
sold
meat
grills. And he's an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
So in 1994, he became the oldest heavyweight champion ever at
Mhm.
45.
Yeah.
But he has 5 sons: George Jr., George III, George IV, George V, and George VI, all which have their own nicknames. George Jr. is obviously Junior. George III is Monk. George IV is Big Wheel. George V is Red. And George VI is Little Joey. Why name all your sons George
Why don't you just name
and
them
then
that?
give them nicknames? I will never
It's
understand.
because you got hit in the head several
Yeah.
times. That's what it is.
And then the last one, and this is really the last one for a little while. Frida Georgeman was George Foreman's daughter. She was a pro boxer. She turned pro in 2000.
I remember when she fought.
She only fought 6 fights.
Yeah.
She had 5 wins, 1 loss. 3 of the 5 wins were knockouts, technical knockouts, knocked
They
them
were
smooth
from
out.
the Houston area too.
They were.
Yeah.
Actually, and then on a sad note, in 2019, she was found unresponsive at the age of 42, hanging in her Houston home
my
closet.
gosh. No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So there you
didn't know
go.
that. That's
That wasn't big news in 2019. But yeah, so a little bit of history about Guinness Book of World Records, the Foreman
Foreman's
family.
and a
They sell
grouse.
irons, and the red grouse is on average the fastest game bird, but the fastest game bird is
and honestly,
duck.
folks, it's just not what you tune in for. I mean, come on, this is it right here.
I
You
feel
wanted to
like
know what
this
the
is
fastest bird
a
was.
good, like, I feel like these kind of tangents is what brings in
Oh, it's
people who
great.
aren't King of the Hill
Yeah,
fans.
it's great. It's great. It's great.
Because all these little facts and stuff get posted on our social medias and
I didn't
stuff
know
on our
about
short
that.
videos, and people are like, "This has nothing to do with King of the Hill," and I'm like,
What?
"No, but we're King of the Hill fans
We are-
talking about
We are
life
King of the Hill
and
centric.
things. It's King of the Hill
Uh,
centric."
All right, so now we're at Hank's house, and Hardy says grills, not irons.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're at Hank's house, and they're waiting on Luann to show up. I also heard that George Foreman passed a long time ago and just recently found out he's still alive. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's fun. That made me
happens.
laugh. That's
That
pretty good. That's pretty good. I recently just found out he's still alive. Yeah,
Luann-
he's like 76, but yeah, he's still alive.
When Luann drives up to the Hill house in her little tiny car.
Yo, honestly, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no,
honestly,
you're
the
fine.
state of boxing is right now.
Yeah.
He could probably become
probably
the
could.
oldest
Yeah.
boxer to ever win a fight
Yeah, he probably
too.
could. Boxing sucks right now. But she comes in and she's dressed in a French maid's outfit. And she goes, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm late. I couldn't get used to the heels." Hank looks at her and goes, "What is that?" "Just my outfit for my next match. Mr. Strickland says if I ever want to fight Frida Foreman," boy, that's a hard one, "I need an image. So, ta-da, I'm a fighting French maid." He goes, "Dang it, I thought I made myself clear when I told him no boxing thong. I'm going to go back to talk to Buck. You need to practice, so get out of that stupid outfit, and for God's sakes, don't leave it where Bobby can find it." And he walks off.
That's
Peggy-
awful.
Peggy
Boxing
comes
thong.
up to her. Peggy comes up to her and goes, "Luann, if you want
You know what that reminds me of, the boxing thong thing? I keep interrupting you,
No,
but
you're fine.
it's when Mike Tyson fought Logan Paul,
Yeah.
there was this weird part where Mike Tyson was in the locker room
Yeah.
and the camera's like waist up and he's like hugging a guy and patting him on the back.
Yeah.
And then Mike Tyson turns around and walks away from the
He's got
camera,
thong on.
and you could see just big ass Mike Tyson 50-year-old cheeks.
Mike Tyson's big ass. Yep. She says, "Luann, if you want to be punched by Frida Foreman, then Peggy Hill is the one that can make that happen. Come on, let's go pick a fight."
Yeah, which is
Here comes
which is
Peggy.
awful here. Yeah.
Well, the part I like the most is when Peggy gets in trouble here in a minute, and I find that very funny. All right, so we're at Buck's house. Hank is at the door. He's like, "It's just that Luann and I are trying to build a legitimate boxing career." And then he sees the maid come in. She goes, "Oh, Mr. Buck." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I got you, Hank." And he sees the maid. He goes, "No stinky costumes, no dressing her like a rabbit. Thanks for coming by." She goes, "Sir, Mr. Randy is throwing up again." He goes, "Thanks, Penelope." And Hank sees it just in time, and he's like, wait a minute. You're supposed to be the slamming Slavic, but you're just Buck's maid." Buck says, "Buck's maid? All right. You caught me with my pants down. I threw pasties in there to protect your pretty little niece." Or patsies. Sorry, not pasties. That's where my mind was. "I threw patsies in there to protect your pretty little niece." He goes, "Oh, God, you mean every fight has been a fraud? What about Helga the Hammer? Librarian, never been in the ring."
Librarian.
Librarian, never been in the ring.
That's awful. You know what? You know what? This episode is really missing? Cotton.
Yeah.
I think this
Cotton would be
episode would have been a
great in this.
little bit
Yeah.
funnier. I mean, it's already a good episode, but I think it would have been a little bit funnier had Cotton been at all these boxing matches.
Hank hands the French feather duster to Buck, and he leaves. Now we're at the gym with Peggy and Luann. And here's my question. They walk right up to the ring, and they can just do that where one of the foremans is working out. They can just walk right up to the ring. I mean, it seems a little lax in security there. if
What, in
you're
the
asking
gym?
me. Yeah.
A lot of training gyms, like you could go to,
Sure,
you
but
could
I'm
go to
saying-
some of these MMA training
But
gyms
I'm
and just
saying
walk
with the
straight into them.
foreman's working out. You would
No,
think
yeah,
there'd be
yeah,
a little
definitely.
bit of
Well, you think there would be,
security,
but Mayweather's got a gym up in Dallas, Fort Worth, and you could walk right in. I mean, you can't like walk all the way in and get to the ring, I don't think, but you could walk into any of these gyms where these people train at. Yeah.
Black Ant says, wouldn't be surprised if Cotton got banned at some point before this episode. That's probably very true. So they walk right up to the ring, and Peggy says, okay, Luann, now you have to trash talk and embarrass her. It's the only way she'll accept a fight with you. You ready? She goes, uh-huh. Hey, Frida Foreman, everybody knows you're nothing but a fraidy cat. Frida kind of flips her head around. She goes, wow, you have pretty eyes. Frida Foreman says, who the heck are you? She goes, Luann Platter, nice to meet you. She goes, yeah, whatever. She goes back to kind of sparring, and then comes shitty Peggy. Hey, yeah, you big can of beans. You give Luann here a match unless you're scared, huh? Are you scared? Yeah, you're not a champ. You're a chump, chumpity chump. And then Artie's favorite part, Frida whips her head around and goes, shut up, Grandma Hair. She goes, ooh, Frida. Frida. She goes, all right, you want to fight? You got to fight. When I get done whipping up on her, I'm going to come looking for you. And then Peggy looks at her and goes, what'd I do? Like,
Yeah, what did I do?
Do anything. She is an idiot. All right. So that is, we know that now she's going to fight Frida Foreman.
Yep.
Peggy is going to get her ass kicked, hopefully. And we're waiting to see how all that comes out. That is our second commercial break. We'll take that real quick, and we'll be right back.
That's
we
great.
are
And we're
back.
back.
All right, so we are jumping rope in Hank's garage. She's getting ready for the big match, and Hank pulls up. He looks at her and goes, because he knows the truth now. That
He
all these
does
have
know
been
the truth,
patsies.
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help him God.
She goes, Uncle Hank, you never believe it. We got to fight with Frida Foreman. He goes, what? No. He goes, I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Now we better train. She's much bigger than me. I think she's even bigger than you. Now Hank is very worried. So the next thing we see is Hank and Peggy in bed, because that's a normal thing here lately. They're both there just kind of staring at the ceiling with their eyes open, because they're like, what the hell are we going to do? Peggy says, well, we cannot tell her that her fights are fixed. It would wreck her world. Hank says, well, maybe she'd get food poisoning. You gave it to me that one time. You could do it again. Excuse me for making chicken tartare. Yes, excuse you for making chicken tartare. You do not do that.
Yeah. So last fact of the
Chicken
day
tartare.
from Artie here. So Artie's the Artie facts have been plentiful today, and thanks Artie, for doing these notes as you do every week
Artie,
for
the
us.
third beetle.
The third beetle. So chicken tartare, also known as chicken sashimi,
Nope.
is a real thing. It is similar in taste and tenderness to beef tenderloin or scallops. While common in Japan, some U.S. restaurants serving it. However, raw chicken can cause food poisoning from bacteria like salmonella. Now, if you use Dawn dish soap and wash your chicken before you eat it raw, I'm just kidding. I don't. I would never eat raw chicken.
Not gonna do that at all.
Now
Never.
they have came out and said pork doesn't
Pork can be eaten slightly pink,
slightly
but
pink.
it doesn't. But you still can't serve it raw.
And bacon can be eaten raw.
I'm not eating raw bacon.
And the reason why
Bacon.
bacon can be eaten raw is because to make bacon, you have to smoke it. So
I'm
once
not
it's
eating
smoked, it's
raw
cured.
bacon.
And once it's cured, it's able to be eaten raw.
Not
Now, I've
raw
only ever seen one person ever eat raw bacon.
because
It's
that
a
person died.
no, he's still alive, but it's a Romanian
Says no
thing.
colon.
Because that's what he said. He said, no, this is a Romanian thing. So if any
Mm.
Romanians are out there that can verify that y'all eat raw bacon, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, who's
But
out there eating raw
he
bacon?
just
Yeah, raise your
it
hand.
was my uncle's restaurant, and it used to be ran by all of us kids at night on Saturdays sometimes. Like we're all teenagers.
Yeah.
And I was cooking with the Romanian guy who was a friend of one of my cousins. They all went to Axel together, and Axel has a big Romanian population out there, and they got a big Romanian Orthodox church and stuff like that. So there's a lot of Romanians out there. So we were in the restaurant. It's Lee's Drive-In. It's just a walk up to the window kind of thing. So it's not like a
Sure.
sit down restaurant. I
Sure.
say restaurant. fast food joint would probably be a better
Yeah.
word.
I got you.
But we're back there cooking one night and everything. We're kind of slow, and he's like, "I bet you $20 I'll eat this raw bacon." And I was like, "For you to say that to me, I'm not going to bet you, but I'd love to see you do it." I was like, "You're telling me you bet me $20 means that you're going to eat raw bacon for $20, and I'm not willing to lose $20 so willingly here. We're only making $45 that night." So I was like, "No, I'm not going to give you $20. I'm only making, that'd be me walking home with just $25." So he grabs the bacon and just eats it raw, and I was like, "Man, why are you eating raw bacon? What is that about?" And he's like, "Well, it's a Romanian thing." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I threw one on the grill. I threw one on the grill and I let it cook, and then I ate it, and I was like, well, that's a U.S. American
I'm going to
thing."
go on the record right now saying that is a Romanian thing, and that is a wrong thing. You should not eat raw bacon. Do not eat raw bacon. I don't care if it is
I would
cooked.
appreciate it
I
if
don't
you
care if it's
guys
smoked.
didn't eat anything that
Don't
would
eat it.
make you sick.
Remember when Tilly tried to poison Cotton by seeing chicken almondine because he swore it was cyanide? And then
Ew.
Alexander says smoked pork belly, sure. Applewood, Oscar Mayer, I'm not sure. Yeah, see, I'm not. I think I'm not sure that they always smoke it. I think that maybe it's like a liquid smoke.
I've never heard of Oscar Mayer bacon either. That's there is.
Oh yeah. Right by the wieners. I worked in a restaurant and most people want their bacon well done. Yeah.
I
I
don't.
don't like it well done. I do like it crispy, like on the edges and kind of soft in the middle.
I like soft bacon,
Sometimes crunchy is good too.
and I also
Cyanide
like
does smell like
English bacon better. So
it's ham. Yeah.
Well,
Basically
you
ham.
say it's ham. It's not ham.
I do
It's
say ham.
it's bacon, but it's thicker and it's like a chop, like a bacon chop. It's bigger.
Right.
It's like this
Yeah,
big.
it's big. Yeah, I've seen it.
And
Like
the
for a
bacon
full
that we
English
have in
kind of thing.
America, in England, they call it streaky bacon.
Streaky bacon.
So there you go.
I'll take streaky bacon anytime. I had some streaky bacon this morning.
I did not. I actually haven't had breakfast. My
All
breakfast is in my
for-
pocket.
All four guys are in the driveway with Lou Ann's training in the garage again. Bill says, I could marry Frida Foreman and refuse to let her fight. And then the one Boomhauer line, man, I tell you what, talk about dang old Joe, champ of the world, 2-time wearing that old crown, man, but talking about that old grease, talking about 5 pounds since I got on and lost that thing, man. He goes, you're right. George Foreman's a minister and a family man. He'll listen to reason. Boomhauer does it again.
Boomhauer
didn't say
does
anything
it
close to that.
again. No, he did
He
not.
didn't say anything close to that. All right. So we are at a department store now, and there's a big sign up. And I don't know if y'all remember these, but there used to be like they would do demos and stuff of new products. And it was a lot of knives and things like that. But this has a sign up. It says, come see George Foreman's Lean Mean Grilling Machine. Next demo at 2:00.
They do that kind of stuff at like they're called trade fairs, but they do it at our county fair that we have here. They
Mhm.
always have those trade rooms set up. The rooms they have like
Well, you
these
used to have
big.
guys out on the midway that would do it also. They would
Yeah,
do,
I don't think
like,
they do that
selling
much
products and
anymore like
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
But they do have the rooms now for sure where you could rent a space and whatever trade you're in and sell your wares.
So
I almost was a guy that did that,
yeah,
but
I don't.
I turned that job down when they told me $12 an hour and commission, and I was like, $12 an hour and commission, maybe not. Maybe that wasn't the best
So
hourly wage.
George Foreman is in there giving one of these demos for his George Foreman grill. And if you've never seen a George Foreman grill, yes, Cutco knives.
I
Yes,
actually,
that's absolutely right.
There was a job I recently applied for, and it didn't
Uh-huh.
say anything about Cutco knives. And I got a phone call from
Never does.
a Baylor student asking me, "Would you like to help us sell knives?" And I was like, "Is
No,
this
thank
Cutco?" And she goes, "Oh, you already know what this is." I
Yeah,
was like, "Yep."
yeah.
She said, "Okay, talk to you later."
Cutco's tough, man.
Woo!
Blah blah blah. You're right. Crunchy bacon is best. with sandwiches. You're right about
Anything in a pyramid
Oh,
is
yeah.
kind of
yeah.
tough.
that.
Like
Upside down or regular.
like the Mary Kay ladies. Like there's very few Mary Kay ladies driving pink Cadillacs.
blah blah
if you
blah.
understand the
Says y'all call
reference.
French toast eggy bread. LOL.
Uh,
It's eggy bread.
No, not quite. French toast is French toast. Eggy bread is eggy bread, which is pretty much what you do.
Yeah,
is
don't forget it. Eggy bread is eggy
French
bread.
toast is different because French toast is got stuff on it. You know,
Okay.
syrup and powdered
So you'll
sugar.
have some that's
Eggy
just
bread is just it's bread, and you just cook it in egg, and then you just eat the eggy bread like that.
I
Yeah.
don't think anybody's ever written or ever gone by a recipe book in England. It just seems like y'all just it's like
We wrote the recipe
almost
books
there, but not really.
And that's everybody says like, oh, French cuisine and all this. Oh, English stole a lot of their cuisine from the French. The French used to kind of like run England at one point. They were
French
conquered
smell
by the
funny.
Normans.
All right, so George Foreman is giving this demo, and he's like, so if you like your food lean, mean, and tasty, don't forget to pick one up on your way out. Hank comes walking right up to George Foreman. Once again, zero security. Mr. Foreman, sir, I know you don't know me, but I'd like a minute of your time. He goes, you want a grill? He
I don't
goes,
think George Foreman would have security though, would he?
I don't know, man.
I feel like a boxer having security would kind of overshadow their boxing ability. Like, you're a guy who has a one-hit punch, and this is around the time he's only 3 years around this episode is what, 2001, so he's only like 4 or 5 years off of, or 6 or 7 years off of his championship win. So he was fit guy, I don't know. I don't know.
He says, you want a grill? He goes, oh no, sir, I'm pretty well set for grills. I sell them for a living along with propane and propane accessories. He goes, good man, what can I do for you? Well, my niece Luann challenged your daughter to a boxing match, and she's not even in Frida's league, but I haven't been able to bring myself to tell her that. So I was thinking if you guys could drop out of the fight, Luann won't get her feelings hurt or her face hurt for that matter. Because I respect that you want to protect your niece. I didn't want my daughter to become a boxer. Neither did Muhammad. But Joe Frazier, on the other hand, he had his baby girl boxing in the crib. He goes, so you'll cancel the fight, champ? He goes, oh, you got it. He goes, oh, thank you. He goes, you're acting just like I'd expect a gold medalist too. George Foreman says, hey, maybe there's something you can do for me. How you feel about carrying my grill in your shop? He goes, sorry, we have a strict policy about no novelty grills.
Man,
imagine
telling
grill.
the entrepreneur who
Right to
sold
his
millions of them, hey, we don't have novelty grills in
George
our
Foreman
grill.
says, novelty grill? He goes, yeah, no offense, but your grill is kind of like an iron. He goes, you calling my grill an iron? I've been hit below the belt before, but nothing like this. He goes, no, I think it's a great product for dieters or little girls who want to play barbecue, but you can't compare it to a propane-powered grill. He goes, fight's on. He goes, what? No. He said, I said fight's on. What's the matter? Smelling all that propane cause you brain damage? That's what it does, He goes, no, that's not accurate. Those studies were done on sick monkeys, and at least my grill isn't sold in
housewares. Yeah,
housewares.
It's like he's almost like he's insulted by the notion.
Oh yeah,
to sell his grills somewhere else.
George Foreman picks up a spatula and starts coming at him. George 3 stops him and goes, "Let it go, Daddy. He ain't worth it." He goes, "You're right, George 3. Get this man out of my face."
Imagine calling it George 4, George 5. Yeah,
George. All right, so now we're at the Hill House. It's dinner with Bobby, Hank, and Peggy. They all look kind of down and out. Luann comes in through the front door, and she goes, "Oh, sorry, I'm late. I ran farther than I ever have before. So look out, Frida Foreman." Hank looks up and goes, "Luann, those fights you had were fixed." She goes, "The fighters were fixed, like my puppy?" He goes,
yeah, that's awesome.
Goes, "No, you see, Buck knew that man would pay to see you dance around the ring, so he found a bunch of cleaning ladies for you to fight and knock out." She goes, "But I'm a great boxer. That's why the fans are always yelling and hollering and throwing dollar bills and oh God, I am stupid." So it just clicked. She just realized, oh shit, they're throwing dollars at me. He goes, you can't fight Frida. She's a real athlete. She'll kill you. Bobby says, you could take a dive like Bwaaa and the others. You'd still get paid, at least because you showed up. She goes, "No, that's cheating. I have too much self-respect for that. Even if every guy in the world thinks I'm a bimbo." And Bobby goes, "Guys suck." Now we're back at the Body Buddy Health Club.
Yeah, this is a funny exchange here.
Yeah, there's another girl in the locker room with Luann, and I didn't realize Luann had a puppy either, Artie or Black Ant. And the lady says, "I didn't see you in Taibo today." She goes, "Oh, that's probably because I wasn't there." I don't. What a great answer! It's probably because I wasn't there. I don't like Taibo anymore. It reminds me that I'm not really a boxer. The other lady says, "Oh, I wish I could quit, but if I didn't go, my modeling agent yells at me. He's also my husband. Hey, I can hook him up with you if you're interested, but just look out because he gets a little grabby." What the fuck? She goes, "No, I want my next job to be something that men will respect."
Yeah, I like that
for.
exchange. That exchange killed me. He's my husband, but I can hook him up with him if you're interested.
Grabby.
Yeah, it's a little grabby.
The other lady says, "Men are never going to respect us. That's why we got to use what God or the surgeon gave us to get what they got, money." She goes, "So you do anything for money?" She goes, "Or a car." He goes, "So if you were me, would you take a dive against Frida Foreman for $1,500 or a car?"
Or a car.
That's all she's worried about.
Yeah, she wants a car.
All right, now we're at the Arlen Theater. And on the marquee, it says "Fight Tonight." And I got to make one comment here. These fights come together super quick. I mean, there is like no time that passes.
There's no camp time. Yeah, fight. It's ready to go. You're either ready to fight or you're not. Yeah. It's a put up or shut up moment.
So we're at ringside. And Buck is talking to her. He goes, all right, now raise your hand. Which one of you fellas is the bachelor? He's looking out into the crowd. A guy raises his hand. And then he goes running up to Hank and Peggy and goes, hey, Luann with you? Peggy says, she is not going to show tonight. She asks herself, what would Jesus do if he were a lady boxer? The answer, not show. Jesus. She comes in. Luann does come in. And Buck looks at her and goes, oh, there she is. And Peggy says, Luann? And Luann says, okay, I'm ready to take my dive now. You promise the check will clear? Buck says, yeah, eventually. Now, don't get hit.
Don't get hit.
In passing, it's, yeah, eventually. He goes, now, don't get hit. You're fighting my aunt next week. Oh, and those gentlemen over there, they're here for a bachelor party. Now, come on. Give him a big old bouncy hello. She just kind of waves at him. Hank just hangs his head. Everybody's sad. Yeah, the fight is Artie says fight's too big to be held at Sugarfoot's.
Way too big to be held at Sugarfoot's. I'm not. Well,
So-
actually, Sugarfoot's like kind of a big.
Sugarfoot's is pretty big, but they'd have to move all the tables and the grease troughs.
Oh, okay.
So they're all hanging their head. Everybody's pissed off now, or everybody's sad because they know the real deal, and she's going to take a dive. Now we see George Foreman. He's just sitting out in the stands talking to a big guy. And he's like, so you can see my grill is perfect for a big man like yourself. The guy in the crowd goes, I've told you 6 times I am not interested.
Not.
The bell rings. The fight starts. A guy in the audience is like, bounce, baby. Woohoo. Luann gets knocked down. The ref comes up and he's like, 1, 2. And then there's a guy on the side. He's like, hey, I got some singles. And he's throwing dollars at her. The ref goes 3, 4. And then Peggy, we see her and she goes, oh, I cannot watch this. There's another guy throwing money. I mean, it's really skeevy. What's going on? It is
pretty awful, yeah.
Another guy in the crowd, say my name, it's Bradley. And then another guy says, spank yourself. And then the ref goes, 8, 9. Luann gets pissed. Luann is ready to go. She gets up finally.
Yeah.
Hank looks at her and goes,
it's the
what are you
eye of
doing?
the tiger. It's the thrill of the
He goes,
fight.
what are you doing? Stay down. Stay down. Peggy's like, oh my God, she's going to get killed. And then she gets punched. She starts bleeding a little bit. She sees that. Then you hear Buck say, oh, what the heck is she doing? We're taking her picture for the calendar this week. She keeps getting punched. She keeps fighting. She keeps going and going. George Foreman sees it out in the audience and he's talking to another guy and he goes, if I could take a punch like that, I may have been able to think of a name besides George for all my sons. He goes,
that's kind of funny. Yeah,
he goes,
that's
that gal's all skull and no brain. She's like Joe Frazier with lipstick. She gets a punch in on Frida. So she lands a good punch on Frida. And Hank says, way to go, Luann, southpaw. Peggy's out there. Woohoo, Luann. Oh, yeah, that's the platter in her. She's still fighting. And then the guys in the crowd, they start to turn. Like, they're no longer worried about bouncing and boobs. They're like,
ain't worried about none of it.
One of them says, man, she's tough. Stick and move. Use your left. Don't give up, Luann. You can do it. And so she turned the entire crowd around. Now, we understand she did not win, right? She didn't beat Frida Foreman.
She did not win, but anybody that could stand up in a ring
own.
with a professional boxer and hold their own, it was kind of like,
yeah, I like the Joe.
I don't want to compare it because it's not really comparable, but it's kind of like when Conor McGregor got in the ring with Floyd Mayweather and lasted the entire fight with him. Mm-hmm. Everybody says, oh, well, that was just an exhibition. Conor McGregor wanted to knock him out so bad he couldn't see straight, but he couldn't.
Yep.
Because he didn't have the same acumen with boxing.
That's true.
Now, if they would have took the gloves off and went in the alley, Conor McGregor probably would have whooped the hell out of him. But in a boxing ring, it's just Floyd Mayweather is one of the best defensive boxers ever.
Absolutely true.
He moves around a lot, doesn't sit still too often.
All right, so the next thing we see is we're back at Arlen Community
Yep,
College. Where
at the community college.
Yep, we're coming into class. Luann comes in. The class is full. The guy starts pulling out a camera when he sees Luann come in. She goes, Stu, what did I tell you about taking pictures of me? And she sounds pretty threatening at this point.
She does sound pretty threatening.
This is the same guy that just wanted to look at her butt and wanted to take pictures because it would last longer. He goes, whoa, no. I wanted a picture with you. I saw your fight. You lasted 3 rounds with Frida Foreman. You are one tough chick. And he gets the camera out, gets another guy to start taking the picture. And he calls her a tough chick. And she goes, thank you. That's all I ever wanted to hear. That was it. And,
that's it.
And that is the absolute end. Now, she is banged, she's bruised, but Luann learned some self-respect in this one, which is pretty amazing because usually that's not the case for Luann.
And even though it is the end, stick around for everybody that's in the live.
Oh, yeah.
If you know anything about our live streams, we do the episode,
already.
and then we continue on with the Friday episode. I just want to let everybody know that's hearing this on audio only.
Yeah.
Hey, we're open invitation to come hang out with
Come hang
us
out
in the
with us on
chat and
Sunday.
hang out. We're now live on Instagram, and then next week I think we're going to try to get it to where we're live on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube.
Couple of
So you
YouTube
have
channels,
many
yeah.
places to watch us. I do really encourage you to go to
Hang on 1
YouTube
second.
though.
We get the credits, and
Oh.
then right after the credits, we hear George Foreman say, "Novelty Grill, fights on."
Oh, there we go. Novelty Grill. There we go. So I do encourage everybody to go to the YouTube though, because that's where we try to drive
Yeah.
traffic to. But if you want to watch us on Instagram or
Watch whatever you
Facebook,
want.
that's cool too. But yeah, come hang out with us if you're hearing this audio only. We have a good time in chat. Everybody comes, hangs out, says their
Yeah, it's
piece.
been great.
Uh,
Thank you guys so much
For everybody,
for,
Artie, Alexander, Luke, Jordan, Super Aztka, Black Ant,
Thanks, Alex.
Rusty Shackelford didn't come today. He usually hangs out, but I didn't see him
I
today.
had some chicken tartare. Didn't feel real good.
Yeah, and then Sparky Buff. Yeah, so we thank everybody that comes and hangs out. Luke, everybody that
Guys, we love you. You're a great audience, and we
y'all are
thank you
great.
so much for being here.
and we're not done, so
can't
stick
do it
around
without
for the next half of the show.
There's one thing left to say.
Weema Ton Yay.
Wimatanya, indeed.
Bwaaa trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Unplugged again. Hang on, guys. We're gonna get the other thing going here in just a second. I got something weird going on with my charger.
All right, welcome back for everybody in the live chat. We're going to get ready to do a Friday episode where we're going to talk about
25 greatest adult animated.
25. We're going to discuss the 25 greatest adult animated shows, and King of the Hill is on that list, which is why that's taking place. So again, yeah, we thank y'all for hanging out. That was one of our best live streams as far as viewership. We've maintained around 8 or 9 people most of the show, and that is great for us. Whenever I look at these statistics and these numbers and stuff like that, guys, I always think of what it would be like to have 10 people standing behind you while you're streaming, or 10 people watching you while you're live. It's like, it doesn't sound like a lot of people, because there's streamers out there that get 30 and 40,000 and 50,000 people. And anime is not on this list. Sorry, it is a Western animation list. But I always just think about the viewership as, what if I had 10 people standing in this room with us while we're recording and while we're talking and stuff. So again, I appreciate everybody that has viewed and watched us. So if you are watching and you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and that'll push us into the algorithm and get us further and deeper into the hearts and minds of YouTubers
All right,
and YouTube
folks.
watchers.
Here we go for a Friday.
And here we go.
Bwaaa trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice dark, deep in the heart of Texas. Jack drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
I do see what you did there, Alex. Hey, everybody. Welcome to
Bwaaa.
King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am
He
Rusty.
is almost every time.
Yep.
Hey, this is a That Ain't Right Friday. And That Ain't Right Fridays are set aside for King of the Hill centric, King of the Hill universe type stuff. Sometimes, like last time, we talked about an article that somebody wrote about our show, which is wonderful.
Which I reached out to the
Yeah.
article writer, and they are located out of Austin, and they're going to get back with me. But we might be doing something with them collaboratively, and I think that we might end up being their plug, quote unquote, for King of the Hill news, because
Nice.
she said that I'll reach out to you in March unless there's more information that drops out about King of the Hill in between now and then. So we might become the official King of the Hill news for Lone Star Live.
There's not a ton of King of the Hill brand new stuff out there right this minute. It's still kind of quiet.
Still kind of quiet.
It comes out a little at a time. Oh, thanks, Sparky.
Sparky Buff said the article introduced
yeah.
them to this podcast. Yeah, there we go.
So what we did is we found a list of the 25 greatest animated shows of all time. Now, again, this is from last year. Not far into last year, but it is from last year, so it doesn't include anything from this year or the last quarter of 24. And all of this is subjective, so don't think that this is our list.
Yeah, this is just a list.
This is a list that was on Yardbarker. Not Yardbarker. I'm sorry, maybe it was on. No, it was on Yardbarker.
Yes, Yardbarker.
So this is written by Chris Morgan from 2024, and it is a list of the 25 greatest, in his estimation, shows of all time. Number 25, BoJack Horseman. Did you watch any BoJack Horseman?
I did watch BoJack Horseman. BoJack Horseman is a phenomenal animated show, and I really like the self-deprecation and stuff like that in it. The BoJack is like depressed, feels like he's a failure. He's addicted to drugs, and he's a talking horse.
Yeah.
So it kind of adds an element to it. And his best friend is like a human being, and then there's like a cat. I mean, it's just, I really like when animated shows have anthropomorphic
I tried
animals.
to get into it, and for some reason couldn't. I've always wanted to go back and
What's his
try it
name?
again.
Arnett, Will Arnett.
Yeah, it's Will Arnett. I just couldn't get into it for some reason. I don't know why.
I thought it was great.
Number 24, Family Guy. Now, as far as Family Guy goes, it's now run for over 20 years.
Yeah,
I remember when Family Guy first came out. Family Guy was fantastic when it first came out, those first couple of seasons. Then Fox canceled it. Then it came out on DVD, and it got big again. Then Adult Swim picked it up, and then they started new episodes and all this stuff. And frankly, this is a show that's gone on for about 10 years too long.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a huge fan of it.
No, the jokes it's too much. You've done every joke at this point. And it ends up that every episode is more just a bunch of references to pop culture than it is anything else. And it gets a little tiresome for me. So I'm not a huge fan. Number 23, Batman the Animated Series. Did you ever watch that?
Watched all of it.
Did
And
you?
actually, one of my favorite voices really for a character is the guy who does Batman, and also the guy who did the Joker in this, which is Mark Hamill.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. So Kevin Conroy is the
Yeah.
guy who played Batman in this.
Kevin Conroy's
And,
been here a couple of times for like Comic-Cons. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago in 2022, but he did Batman in a lot of stuff, but he was also like a guest star. He did Cheers, Matlock, Murphy Brown back in the day,
Yeah.
but he became known as the voice of Batman. So he actually, he's the first voice actor to alter his voice tone between portraying Batman and Bruce Wayne. Now, Michael Keaton had done it in the live action Batman films, but no other Batman iteration ever before had a separation of voices. It was just the same voice, but he ended up doing Batman in the new Batman Adventures. He did Batman in Batman Beyond, where he played an elderly Bruce Wayne who's
Yeah.
retired,
Yeah.
and he has the young kid or whatever that's doing it for him. He was in Justice League Unlimited, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is a really good theatrical film.
It's one of the. I've always heard that's one of the best animated Batman movies ever.
It is. It's a really good one. It's one of my favorite ones. Yeah. And then he ended up doing Batman in the direct-to-video. I mean, he's been Batman in pretty much just about everything that has Batman. Superman and Batman Public Enemies, Superman and Batman Apocalypse, Batman the Killing Joke, Batman and Harley Quinn. So he pretty much was in his bag as Batman. He also had guest appearances as Batman on Teen Titans Go and Scooby-Doo Guess
That
Who.
came out a little too late for me. Like, I already had kids and all that stuff, and they just weren't into it.
Well, you know, if you're still in the animation, go back.
I'm not going back.
And go watch it. It's great. I think it's great. But he also did Batman in Batman Arkham Asylum, and Batman Arkham City, and those are all video games. So he has pretty much been known as Batman now for more of his career than anything else. He's done a lot of other stuff, but Batman is where he really made his bread and butter. He played Batman for a very, very long time.
Number 22 is South Park. Now,
That's a good one.
South Park is one that I also never really got into.
We have a connection to South Park.
Every once in a while, it was fine, but I don't.
We have a loose connection to the South Park movie.
Who's that?
So John Fountain, for those of you that haven't seen our podcast, we only did 16 episodes, but it's still good watch. It's called The Animation Conversation. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But he actually, one of his early jobs in the animation industry was working for the South Park movie.
Yeah.
And he said it was a really hard job and he didn't really like it that much, but he was a part of it. So there you go.
Number 21 is Gravity Falls. You ever watch any Gravity Falls?
Never seen that one.
See,
though.
I've never really watched it either. I know that I've seen some in passing, but not that much. It says in 2010s, Disney had a bit of an animation renaissance, thanks to a couple of shows on this list. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. The first one up is Gravity Falls. It's a mystery story about a couple of kids' supernatural bend. Think of it like sibling Scooby-Doo with better animation and less bubblegum pop. Even adults got invested in the mystery. I don't know.
No, I missed that one for sure.
It just didn't hit. How about number 20, Doug?
I've seen all of Doug. I went back and watched it as an adult and just to see how well it stood up.
Thank you, Artie.
Phenomenal show. Doug is a really, really, really good show. Doug Funny's actually voiced by Billy West, and Billy West is a hugely famous voice actor.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did you watch any of the 80s Turtles stuff?
Yeah, I watched all of it. Yeah, I've seen all that.
Yeah. Not a lot to say about that other than they eat pizza. And
it was an amazing show, though. It was a really good show.
Number 18, if you want to get really deep here, Venture Brothers. Venture Brothers is fantastic. I always like Venture Brothers because of the absurdity.
Yeah.
The silly voices, it
reminded me of like a Johnny Quest like show.
It is like Johnny Quest, just ridiculous though. Not that Johnny Quest wasn't. Number 17, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. We have covered that before.
I've seen every episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast now. I've seen every episode of the Brack Show.
Excellent.
All of that stuff is really good.
Very funny, very absurd, very short.
A lot of
get into.
Well, we've discussed it too when we did the Letterman podcast.
Yep.
We discussed the connections between
also with
what was his girlfriend's name? What was David Letterman's girlfriend's name?
I can see her. Shit, I can't remember. I don't know.
Meryl Marco. So Meryl Marco actually has an episode on there, but there's a lot of connections between David Letterman and that show because that show is based off of David Letterman's show.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of there's people that created that show that also had a hand in some of the writing and stuff for David Letterman.
It says here at the bottom, when it worked, it was fantastic, and that's absolutely true. Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, is number 15. Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law is one of those where Adult Swim went in and they took old footage and were able to build something around it,
which is a lot of what they've done. Yeah. My favorite episode of that one is where
the Hanna-Barbera stuff not great in my estimation. Most of it's
just filler stuff, but I don't know. I like a couple of the shows, but my favorite episode of Harvey Birdman is when the Mystery Machine gets pulled over.
Yeah,
and they try to give Shaggy and Scooby possession tickets for possession of weed.
Yeah,
and they go have like a whole court process that they go through and stuff like that. I think that's a hilarious episode.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Number 14, the Flintstones. You can't really beat the old Flintstones. I've seen every
The
one of them
Honeymooners. Yeah.
because I just watch them after school.
I've seen a lot of them.
Not old enough to have seen them in person, but I did see them in.
My favorite thing about them, though, is
reruns.
the Winston commercial where Betty and Wilma are mowing the front lawn
Like that,
while
like
they're
that.
looking for a place to smoke a cigarette. So they go behind the house and they're like, let's hope they don't catch us smoking.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there just passing back and
Oh,
forth
yeah.
the cigarette. That was a pretty good episode.
Number
pretty good
16,
stuff.
Hey Arnold, football head.
Seen all of it. Yep.
Yeah.
Watched the entire series.
My daughter watched it when she was little, but
It reminds me of
never really-
Doug.
Yeah, it's a little Dougish. Number 13, though, fantastic one, Powerpuff Girls. That
Yep.
is a wonderful show.
Which also have a connection to that loosely. Rob Renzetti was the roommate of Gendy Tartakovsky, and they all created Two Stupid Dogs together.
Yeah.
And then Rob Renzetti worked on this show and a couple other shows too. But we have an interview with him also on the Animation Conversation. He was actually the guy who created My Life as a Teenage Robot.
Yeah.
And he's one of F's good friends.
Number sorry, we just did Powerpuff. Number 12, Scooby-Doo, Mystery Incorporated, the original one. Great show. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is Mystery
No, I was
Incorporated.
supposed to
It's not
say,
the original one. This
yeah.
is the one that ran from 2010 to 2013.
The original one is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
I did think this was a good version of it. I thought it was really well done. The animation is good. The voices are good.
My son has watched every Scooby-Doo episode and every Scooby-Doo movie ever. He's watched them
Yeah.
all. His nickname is
The newest one,
Scoobers.
Scoob, is a good movie.
Yeah,
It's
he
a
liked
decent
it.
movie.
He liked it. He said it was
Yeah.
pretty good. But he knows so much about Scooby-Doo that within the first minute or two of introducing the character
Yeah.
or whatever,
He can tell
he
you.
could tell you who did what, where, when. It's like Clue. He knows who did what in what room and where and
I
why.
like this, and this does tell you the difference between the old one and the new one. It says, "Oh," and the backgrounds don't just repeat themselves over and over. So
Yeah.
this one's a little better.
There's a lot of reusage of backgrounds
no,
in
I
the
did
original
not watch
Scooby-Doo.
Velma. I should have. Black Ant. Number 10, I believe Artie or somebody brought it up a while ago. The Critic.
Yep,
The
The
Critic
Critic.
with John Lovitz.
That was a good one.
The Critic was excellent. It was an excellent cartoon. It was another one of those that Fox had that they didn't know what the hell to do with.
No, they didn't.
Fox used
It was
to,
ahead of its time.
yes, Fox used to greenlight some stuff that was fantastic, and then they just gave up on it so soon. They would give up on it so quickly.
Speaking of
Today,
Fox,
if you introduced The Critic today and you had it on HBO or you had it on Netflix or something, it would be a runaway hit.
speaking of the next one is number 11 with SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah.
Speaking of SpongeBob SquarePants, another connection. SpongeBob SquarePants. We interviewed one of the newer, like somebody's worked on it within the last like 5 to 10 years, Pinky Davis, and they are launching a pilot for Fox. They're doing a pilot right now where it's anthropomorphic horses because she's they are a horse lady. She's like a horse person or whatever. She they love horses, and they're actually during the LA fires they were helping people evacuate their livestock.
Okay.
And they are launching. It's a mall, and it's 2 horses who are like security guards at a mall, and that's all I know about it
Okay.
right now. So
Great.
they're launching like this pilot for them. But yes, SpongeBob SquarePants is the next one. I've seen a lot of it, haven't seen all of it, but
Artie says
it is now.
By the way, Artie says if it ain't Casey Kasem, it's not Scooby Doo.
Yeah, you're right.
Pretty true. Okay, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars, Artie.
SpongeBob is now the longest running children's animated show, beating out Arthur.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So they beat Arthur.
SpongeBob has that is a crazy cultural phenomenon. That thing came on and it just didn't stop. Like it took over. It had merchandising. It had movies. It had everything.
Yeah, I'd never let my kids
Huge,
watch it though.
huge.
I don't feel like.
Pup named Scooby Doo wasn't.
Oh,
bad.
Zach. Hey, Zach.
King of the Hill is number 9. I think we all know what King of the Hill is at this point, and we're just
Bwaaa.
sitting here waiting
Yeah.
on the reboot. Number 8, Adventure Time. I can tell you this: I've not seen a lot of Adventure Time, but
It's a
what I
great
have
show.
seen of Adventure Time is a fantastic show.
I've seen pretty much all
It's
of it.
Weird. It's wonderful. It's wacky.
So you know how I found out
I
about
do
Adventure
like it.
Time?
What's that?
So, I want to say it was around 2009. Around 2009 or so, I was looking at random shorts that were on the internet. So they
Yeah.
had like a bunch of shorts and stuff. It was around 2009, yeah. And it was a short that was released on Nicktoons. Okay, yeah. So it was 2007. Sorry, it became a viral hit on the internet. So I found it about 2009, and it was done by Frederator Studios. So if you don't know who Frederator Studios is, everybody, Frederator Studios, it was ran by a guy named Fred Seibert, and he's responsible for Oh Yeah cartoons, which was where you get the Fairly Odd Parents, Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Fanboy and Chum Chum, Adventure Time.
Fairly Odd Parents is a good
You
show,
get
too,
a lot, which is F again.
which is not on his list.
F was on 3 of the shows I mentioned, actually. The Fairly Odd
Yeah.
Parents, Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot. Really good animator guy. He's like, pretty good in the industry, whatever. But Fred Seibert actually became the president of Hanna-Barbera Cartoons, and he created this thing called What a Cartoon. So back in the day, you would pitch your cartoon or whatever, but this gave them an opportunity to scope out what
Test them out.
cartoons would be best by
Yeah.
giving you all these
Yeah.
shorts. So that's how Adventure Time came about. And
Adventure Time's a big one.
huge one. It was
very
actually
good.
one of the most inventive things I'd seen at the time. I thought it was super creative, and I don't know. I fell in love with that show just off of that short, because that short was just, I don't know, it was amazing short.
Number 7 is Archer. Archer is a fantastic show, but Archer is not about the animation. Archer is all about the writing and the characters. And this has some of the best people in the world in it.
Yeah, it doesn't have very great
John
animation.
Benjamin is freaking tastic. I love that guy in almost anything he's in. Number 6, Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco's Modern Life was a good one also. It was kind of funny. It was pretty groundbreaking for Nickelodeon at the time.
Yeah, it was.
But the one that's not on here that is also about the same time is Courage the Cowardly Dog, and that was a good show. That was one of the only horror-based cartoons I can
For
think
kids,
of.
yeah.
But it was a good show. Rocco kind of took a little bit off of Ren and Stimpy and things like that. And by the way, this list sucks because there's no Ren and Stimpy. So there you go. Number 5, Phineas and Ferb.
Nah, I didn't really.
Never a fan.
I passed the age.
Yeah.
I'm like a generation up from that one.
Number 4, Teen Titans Go.
That's another one that I was like
Yeah.
a generation late for that. It came out
Courage
just
the
a little
Cowardly
late
Dog,
for me
man.
to be concerned with it.
Yeah, I just didn't. I have a hard time with animation for superheroes. I just don't. I don't know why.
I like animation for superheroes, but I don't like that because that was definitely targeted for a certain age group.
Yes.
Now, like all the Batman animated stuff and stuff like that, and all the old Superman cartoons and stuff, I really like those. But that specific one, the Teen Titans one, it wasn't something that was
Now
definitely not on my radar at
I'm
all.
going to give you one here that is very controversial.
Okay,
This is number 3, Daria.
Daria.
Now let me
absolutely.
read you what it says underneath it. It says Beavis and Butthead, the show Daria spun off from, didn't make our list. We had to include Daria though because it's so much better than the simple show it spawned from. The characters are so much more interesting and funny. Daria was and is a role model for so many sardonic, sarcastic quipsters who still care deep down inside. It's a show laden with funny characters of all flavors. We particularly fans of Daria's dad, Jake. No character makes yelling in vain as funny.
You know what I found weird about this though?
I do get it because Beavis and Butthead is not an all animated show. I get that.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I found out that was weird about this is that Mike Judge had no involvement in this whatsoever.
Right.
So it is a spin-off of his show, obviously, Beavis and Butthead, in which Daria was this recurring character who was voiced by Tracy Grandstaff, which she ended up being voiced by Tracy Grandstaff in the show as well, in the Daria spin-off. He had zero involvement of the production at all because around the time that this show came out, which this series came out in 1997, is also the year that King of the Hill came out. So he was working on King of the Hill when this came out, and King of the Hill was in full swing in 97, 98, 99, 2001, and 2002.
I read somewhere that
So
they're rebooting Daria as well.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Which I can
And
see.
I wouldn't doubt that it would be on their animation production studio that's producing it.
All right, number
But,
2
there you go.
on our list of 25 greatest of all time is Futurama.
Amazing
Now,
show.
Futurama was great. I have not watched a lot of the newer stuff, but it was great when it was on Fox. I loved it.
The thing that I like about Futurama the most is the writing and the science. So they actually have a lot of their writers that write on this show are all
True.
actual science people. They're all, physicists, astrophysicists and stuff like that. So I always thought that was cool that the show had a lot of accurate, I mean, as accurate as you can be in a cartoon, but I always thought it was cool that they used real
Yeah, up to a certain
science
point they do.
people
Yeah,
in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So,
And then number one on this list, what do you think it would be?
oh, everybody
It's
should
The
know
Simpsons.
it's going to be
Yeah,
the
it's The
Simpsons.
And I'm not real sure what we can add to the zeitgeist that would help you understand the Simpsons if you don't know what they are. The Simpsons have been around for 1,000,000 years, and they've gone through so many great writers. The writing on the Simpsons is not as good as it used to be, but boy, when Conan was one of the writers there, and a couple of the other guys, they had some wonderful writing and some really great gags. The one that I liked a lot.
There's a lot of overlap in some of these Fox shows
Sure.
with voice actors, with writers.
Yeah.
Because throughout all this research that we've done for King of the Hill, there's definitely overlap for King
Oh,
of the Hill
yeah,
and Simpsons
definitely.
people. There's definitely overlap for voice actors, for Futurama, The Simpsons, King of the Hill.
Black Ant got it right with the Simpsons. Zach says he loves shows that have jokes for everyone. That's honestly my favorite kind of animation. Also, when you look back at like the old Merry Medleys and the Looney Tunes, when you watch a Bugs Bunny cartoon, it has adult jokes and it has kid jokes in it, and everybody can enjoy it. And that's because at the time they were shown before movies.
They were for
in the
adults.
theaters.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
like at that time, the Looney Tunes
Yeah.
weren't even targeted for children. They were
Yeah.
written for adults. It wasn't
There's-
until like the 80s that they were targeted for kids, or 70s they were
If-
targeted for kids.
If I had to put together a list of maybe say top 3, Bob Odenkirk and Dana Gould. Yeah, you're right. They came out of the Simpsons.
Conan O'Brien and
If I had to
Greg
put together a
Daniels.
top 3 list of my favorite animated shows of all time, Ren and Stimpy would be probably at the top, just because I love that wacky, dirty, gritty, gross animation that he did. John Krafowski. There's a great little short documentary on YouTube you can watch about the making of the show. It's really good. It hit at the right time for me. It was just one of my favorites. And by the way, what rolls downstairs alone or in pairs rolls over your neighbor's dog. What fits on your back and it's good for a snack. It's log, 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 log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. Log, log. It's better than bad. It's good. So you can tell Ren and Stimpy stuck with me for a little bit.
Absolutely. It wasn't a bad show. And
yeah, the
until it went
second-
to its second revival was
Yeah,
kind of raunchy.
Yeah.
Or
My
its
second-
revival to what was it on? It was on Spike. Yeah.
it was on Spike. My second favorite animated show, probably Bob's Burgers. I really enjoyed it. I haven't watched it in a while now, but it was really good writing. Well done. And then third, I don't know, it'd be somewhere between Simpsons, something like that, probably. It falls off real quick for me after my top 2.
Yeah.
you know?
My top 3, obviously, my number 1 is going to be King of the Hill.
Yeah.
My number 2,
That's
would
funny because I
probably
didn't even
Space
think of King
Ghost.
of the Hill as a cartoon when I was putting that list together in my head.
yeah,
I
Well,
didn't
it's
even
'cause
think
we
of it as
do-
a
it's
cartoon. I
'cause
think
we-
that says a lot.
we're ingrained in it.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me would probably be Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and the
Oh,
reason
yeah.
for
See,
that
I
would
didn't
be
put
the
that in.
fact that I really, really watched a lot of David Letterman as a teenager and as a middle schooler and junior high kid,
Felix the
and
cat.
it was just a sillier version of that. And you got celebrities on there and stuff of the day
You know
and
what
all
else
that.
was good? There was a Mighty Mouse cartoon that came on that John Krafowski had something to do with.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And it was this weird reboot of Mighty Mouse in kind of a Ren and Stimpy animation.
Yeah,
And
no, I didn't know that.
there was one episode that got the whole thing taken off the air. And it was the fact that they would sniff these flowers just a little too hard, kind of like they were Coke. And then they would have all this energy and stuff.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah, that's basically what got it kicked off.
And then I guess my third one, like you said, it kind of falls off after there because it
It
kind of
does.
gets tough. But I guess it would be probably, the Simpsons, I guess I'd say
Yeah.
somewhere around there. But I haven't watched The Simpsons in probably
It's been a long time.
20 years. So
Yeah.
I was, like a teenager when I stopped watching it. But I want to give a quick shout out to Jaden
God,
Libran.
it's crazy. I don't even think of watching King
King of the Hill
I
as
don't think of it
animated. I don't
cartoon.
really think it
just
as a
don't.
cartoon sometimes either. But I want to give a shout out to
Xavier
Jaden.
Renegade Angel. Zach asked
Renegade
about.
Angel. Hold
You
on.
remember Xavier Renegade Angel? That weird CGI cartoon. You
No,
may not
I
have
don't
been
remember
here
that
week
one.
when I
No, I
did
don't
it,
remember that one
but
at
it
all.
was oh my god, it's terrible. Yeah,
I'll have to
it's
check
made
that
to
out.
be terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's awful, but it's great.
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to Jaden Libran. He is
Yeah, Jaden's been on our show before.
he's been on our show twice, and he's a big King of the Hill guy. But he was just recently cast
Yep, there you
in
That's right, Black Ant.
Lil Kev.
Lil Kev.
So Lil Kev, for
Lil
those of
Kev.
you that don't know,
Oh, Lil Kev.
is
Lil Kev.
an animated adult series. It'll be the first ever adult animated series dropping on March 6th on BET Plus.
It's really hard to believe that BET has never had an animated series like that was specifically made on their network.
Yeah, and
That's
he will
crazy.
be he will play Omar, which
Yeah.
is a hardened ex-con with a tender and romantic side. And yeah, check that out. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be on March 6th. It's set in 1993 in North Philly, and it is all about a 12-year-old Kevin Hart's hilarious misadventures. So there you go.
Black Ant says, talking about the Mighty Mouse thing, says the joke was he was sniffing flowers, but beforehand he crumbled it up into powder on accident. So parents got mad thinking it was a cocaine joke, which it probably was.
Probably
honestly.
was a
Yeah.
cocaine joke.
But that's it, guys. That is top 25.
That's
You
the
feel
top
free to send
25.
us your lists. We would love to read them or go over them and argue about them. Okay, and I'm gonna say something here that I didn't think I would ever say. If you want to send me a list of anime stuff that we need to talk about, do that. That's fine. We can do that here, but we'll do it on a Friday, and you're gonna have to try real hard to convince me to like some of these things. I love Akira, if that counts for anything, but that's about it. And then Boondocks. Yep, I remember when they had beef with.
Okay, there we go.
BET.
I could take that as my third then. Boondocks is my third.
Really?
Okay, so I could completely change my whole top five, no, top four now. It's going to be King of the Hill.
Yep.
It would be Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Boondocks, and Squidbillies in a tie for third.
Squidbillies. You talk about that one a lot.
Yeah, Squid. It was just, I don't know. It was just
I just hit you right. Yeah, that's all it is.
just hit me just right. That was a funny ass show.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all of you. We love you guys. The fact that you guys stick around and stay in the chat rooms and stuff, we love it. If you're not here for a live one, we do this about 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on Sundays. We'll do back-to-back, so we do our Monday and our Friday. And you want to tell them where they can find us?
You can find us at BWAAAKOTH on all social medias. You could email us at BWAAA. That's 3 A's, BWAAA. KOTH@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube at BWAAAKOTH at YouTube. If you go to our YouTube, please subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, and you'll get to see when we go live. We're also live now on Instagram. We have hooked up the Instagram to the broadcasting software. So now you can see us on Instagram, and next week
See you,
we'll
Zach.
set it up to where we're on Facebook as well. So we'll be live in 3 separate places: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
Mhm.
and
See
if
you, Artie.
there's any other live places you want to see us, let us know, and we'll try to get that hooked up on there too. But
Absolutely.
that's where you can see us live, is those 3 places starting next week.
Alexander Green wants to know if we know of Little Bubby Child. I don't know what that means. You'll have to tell us later.
Oh, are you talking? I think Lil Bubby Child is a cartoon that he's talking about. I've seen him on Facebook. It's like it's like they've
don't
got
know
a couple of animated things, but it's like
YouTube it, he says. Yeah.
I think it's where it's this little redneck guy. There's a YouTube. It was on Instagram where I first found it actually, and it's a cartoon. It's like
Hey,
a real
GQ
simple
barbecue.
drawing of a kid.
Thanks for being here.
And it's like a redneck thing. And it
done,
was like
We'll be here next Sunday.
it was like they're giving half an inch of snow, so run get mama 3 loaves of bread and a 2% milk and pick up some fried livers. We'll need something healthy to keep our strength going. It's just like really redneck things. That's what it is for sure.
GQ Barbecue just checked in, said hello, new to the channel. Just found y'all.
Oh, well, appreciate that, GQ Barbecue. You caught us at the
You know
very
what?
end of our broadcast.
You know what
but
I've been watching? And I don't even know how I came across it. There's this thing on YouTube called Improbably Poppy. Poppy. Poppy is this woman who she did a lot of screamo stuff and really avant-garde art rock stuff, but now she does this weird little talk show, and just the tip, says GQ Barbecue. Nice job. She does this show, Improbably Poppy, and it is the most surreal, weird thing. It reminds me a lot of like Pee-wee's Playhouse almost kind of.
I'll have to check that out.
Very good.
Did you know that he
Yeah.
posthumously came out as gay?
Who?
Pee Wee Herman.
No, that didn't.
Oh yeah, so John Redcorn, the
Says you
real
met
guy,
John Redcorn.
he recently got married to his partner,
Oh, good for him.
and he had his house burned down in San Antonio. So sorry about that.
He was
also tried to charge me $5,000 to talk for 30 minutes on our show, but
well, he was also on.
oh,
Parks and
Kathy
Rec.
Holly's new
He
too.
was on
Well,
Parks and
dang,
Rec.
welcome
Hey,
to all the
Kathy,
new
how are
people.
you? Thank you for
Make sure to hit
us.
the like and the subscription and
Yeah.
the
Hey,
notification bell.
I'll say this one more time. Generally, we record these live streams. GQ's in San Antonio.
Oh yeah,
Good job.
shout out from San Antonio. Heck yeah.
Go Spurs, go.
That's where John Redcorn lives.
But
Jonathan Joss, I think is his name.
He is. Generally, we try to do these live streams Sundays at 11 a.m. Central. If you can catch us here, that'd be great. If not, we take these and we chop them up. We make our episodes out of them. So thank you guys for being here. We appreciate all of you. And I believe there is one thing left to say.
Appreciate all the new timers. Thanks for coming. Hey, stick around. We'll be live again next Sunday.
Sunday 11.
I'm also considering doing random streams of me playing video games.
Next
on our-
Sunday,
on
the
our-
time may be off, just simply because we have block party on Saturday and the award show on Sunday.
I forgot about
What
that.
we may do is we may try to go live from the award show or something like that.
Are we going to be doing anything at the block party?
No.
Okay.
This is a little bit different.
Well, you have me doing something, which I need to ask you about when,
Yeah, we'll
before,
talk.
before we leave.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And what's the last thing to say?
Well, for the new timers, we end each show with
Just say it.
Weema Tanya.
We met Tanya, indeed. See you guys.
Bwaaa trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas.